lots of love, love. Got lots of love, love. Got lots of love, love.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
Hello and welcome to the second day of the EU Kunoichi Kerfuffle. I'm Fifi, joined here by Spectrion, and today should be an excellent day of matches.
Yeah, I got more than a couple of them coming up for you today, starting off with Jazzy's E-Kittens versus the Lava Lilies, a rematch from yesterday, one that hopefully should live up to it at least the same duration as the last one, which did of course go all the way 2-1. I think this is going to be another 1-2 here, and of course we're out of the group stage now into double elimination. So one by one, some of these teams are going to be dropping out as they race towards the final. Of course, first game of the day, so both these teams still have one life left, so won't be the end if they unfortunately fall here, but a lower bracket run after the first round is not where you want to start.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's a lot easier to start not in the lower bracket. So, I mean, both of these teams, it's not all the stakes out yet, right? You're not playing for your lives quite yet, but obviously you would like to start with a win. And for Lava Lilies, I mean, the last round yesterday, they lost this matchup. They would absolutely love to get revenge.
That's often the way of things. Hopefully should have had a little bit of time to VOD review, come up with some counter strats, fix the mistakes that they were consistently making, if there were many of those, and Jazzy's E-Kittens looking to just get a repeat of what happened previously, maybe make it even a little bit cleaner. But I believe we could just take a quick look at the rosters now, refresh ourselves with the players we're going to be seeing on our screens. We're going to be looking at Jazzy first, and we've got Jazzy, the Eponymous leader, Inu, Ink, Violet, and Botanic.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, just a really solid roster here, and I mean, I'm excited to see more from both of these teams. Only have played 2 games in the round robin, so expect to see a good bit more of them today. All of these players quite excellent. Expect to be seeing a lot of great things from them.
I have to say that icon, the logo is beautiful. It's amazing. I don't know how they found it. I don't know if they made it, but like, I'm transfixed.
I'm a big fan.
Lava Lilies up next, going to be their opponents. And here they are: Squirtle, Kleesa, Blood Bunny, Harmless, and Joy. Hopefully they don't run out on all their favorite heroes here. Might be a little bit strange, but JQ in current patch, very, very playable. And honestly, you could just sub out the Echo, put in like a Genji, a Symmetra. Honestly, it's pretty playable then.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely could work. I mean, I don't imagine we'll be seeing it. They didn't attempt this yesterday, to my knowledge. So I imagine we're going to be seeing something a little bit more standard than this, but I mean, absolutely could happen.
Yeah, we're going to be starting off on Ilios first as well. Should be a good bit of fun there. Of course, Ilios, a map where plenty of variety can come in. But we'll have to see what these teams decide to go for in just a little bit. But we still have, I think, a minute or so before we head into the match. So any predictions here, Fifi? Anything you might want to see? Anything you really don't want to see?
Oh, you see, I usually ask the other caster what their predictions are, and then out of spite, I do the other one. So now you're putting me on the spot. I don't know. I guess I'll go with Lava Lilies for the revenge match.
I mean, then I'm going to go for Jazzy's E-Kittens to try and get the 2 peats. So you get some reversing action going on here.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of what normally happens, but I think, Jazz E-Kittens, you do have to say that they are going to be the favorite here. Of course, Lava Lilies, I believe, did go 0-2 in groups. Yep. Jazz E-Kittens did get that 1 win against Lava Lilies. So, I mean, everything that you can use to rationally predict, you probably end up saying the E-Kittens. But of course, when you get into the server, rationality more often than not does just end up falling out the window. Teams really love to change things up, mess around with their strats, and of course, individual mistakes and all that can really add up. So, still definitely a chance for the Lava Lilies. Really have a fighting chance to to bring a really strong game here, show their mettle, and make a pretty decent run in this tournament.
Yeah. I think unfortunately for the Lava Lilies, though, I mean, starting out on Ilios, I feel like it doesn't really play to their strengths as much. I feel like they like to play those close, brawly compositions. I believe they were playing a bit of Reinhardt on Antarctica, which is the map that they took off of Jazzy's E-Kittens last time. Whereas I feel like with the longer sightlines on Ilios, it's going to be a lot harder to run something like that.
Yeah, Reinhardt's a bit of a niche pick in today's day and age. I don't think most teams realistically would have the best luck running her, but we'll see if either team elects to do so. What we're seeing out of Spawn, though, so far, it doesn't look like it too much. Lava Lilies on the Junker Queen angles comp, I guess. Squirtle going to be looking to poke from afar. Cleater looking to follow up on the Ashe with the dash resets, and Jazzy's E-Kittens on a Winston dive with the Widowmaker. Inu going to look to play on their own, and Jazzy and the rest of the E-Kittens are just going to try and flatten anti-target. We'll see if that ends up happening, but Blood Bunny's going to have such an easy job marking Ink.
Yeah, but I mean, this will still be quite rough for Lava Lilies. They have to worry about these nades. They have to worry about the Widow. And I mean, that is the first pick onto Squirtle. That's a lot of damage already down. Does get traded back, but Kiriko under a lot of pressure already, and that's a nice little sniper monkey moment there to start out for Jazzy's E-Kittens, and they should just be able to clean this up over towards the point. Ink does have to be careful. This is still winnable with a Junker Queen on board, but with her antied and no healers to back her up, that's just going to be the fight.
And the thing about the Winston Junker Queen matchup is that Winston is always going to get more value than a Junker Queen, except when you're in the 1v1. So Ink does a good job avoiding Blood Bunny there, and Jazzy's E-Kittens with that managed to establish control first. Also pay attention to the ult charge on that Ana Baptiste main. 70% to the Nana boost. That's going to be the win condition for the E-Kittens. Lava Lilies will have nothing in response. And now scaling into the point Squirtle over to the Sojourn, going to provide a little bit more range pressure, a little bit more threat to the Widowmaker. We'll see if it's enough as the fight going to start up again now.
Yeah, and I mean, with the lower health on the Widow, you can potentially one-shot her with the rail, but you can also just run down the Brig if it's to your fancy, and it is for Lava Lilies. I mean, you got a Lucio in the back as well. They just don't want to give anything to Jazzy's E-Kittens whatsoever. And fortunately for the Lilies, I mean, during that fight, they were able to flip over the point quite early, and now they're already equalizing percentage.
Definitely, and I think the thing with what Jazzy's E-Kittens are playing is that it doesn't have that much long-range damage, and so if Lava Lilies just want to essentially run at them with the Lucio speed, there's very little that they can do. That's why they got wiped off the point so quickly. Nana boost fight now, though, so very likely going on to Ink or Jazzy. With the Blade very close, we could be seeing Nana Blade come up clutch here.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the early Queen ult from Blood Bunny. Pulls the trigger early, although Jazzy not going to be able to do much of anything as Squirtle just shuts that right down.
And the Nana boost was used from Baptiste main, which gives up a massive win condition, swapping over the backline, and wholesale swaps is going to cause a lot of ult charge to be snapped into Oblivion. Eno as well over to the Tracer, so going all in on this dive comp. We'll see if it works out for Jazzy's E-Kittens, but Lava Lilies in control with ult advantage should be set to convert runes here.
Yeah, blades from both sides, looking for who can get the value. Jazzy not able to quite find out their opposing number. Has to just hide away in a room for a moment. But, I mean, if Lava Lilies can just stabilize, they are at an advantage right now. But Squirtle under a lot of pressure. Nice beat there, though, to keep them alive. They have the overclock as well. Looking for the Lucio. Goes to half HP, but is able to stay alive. But nice punish there from Ink, shutting down the Sojourn. Has to back up and stabilize, but I mean, this should be Jazzy's E-Kittens. They have a pretty overwhelming advantage, unless Blood Bunny can make some miracle happen. But going down, it's just all on to the Genji and the Kiriko, who are both 1 HP. And I mean, they're still just touching, but it's just gonna get cleaned up. But they did get to 99.
Yeah, 99, and I do think that your ults are going to be a little bit better if you're on the side of the Lava Lilies, a little bit more impactful for the most part, and Jazzy's E-Kittens have decided to swap, so mirror JQ comps. The only difference now is going to be the Sojourn versus the Tracer. Inu with the Pulse on kind of has to come up clutch for the E-Kittens if they want to win this particular fight. Get an early pick, at least force the Suzu, could be huge, and Lurking here is set up to do so.
Oh, gets the pulse, but I mean, just a Suzu to respond. But honestly, you're kind of happy just getting that ability out, and now with the rush and no Suzu to respond, you can just kind of run on in and looking at Squirtle, who just can't really do much about it. And that's a nice, clean fight there for the E-Kittens.
Suzu was such a big part of Kiriko's value as well. Such an important cooldown that burning the ultimate just to get that is more than worth it. And gets the conversion as well for the E-Kittens, and they managed to charge into some more ults in that fight, so it's going to be the Beat and the Blade, a great combo, a classic combo from 2016 even, to try and bring to bear against the Lava Lilies. Blood Bunny with the rush that could come a clutch.
Oh, Jazzy trying to go in with the Blade, but it is so low, dies to the Sojourn Orb. And I mean, that's not a good start, but with the Junker Queen down and now a Beat to run down Squirtle, I mean, Jazzy's E-Kittens are still looking solid, but now with Squirtle running back in with the rails on the Sojourn, there's still a chance for the Lilies here. But Inu has a Pulse Bomb in tow, could sway the fight with that, and also Ink so close to this Rampage. If they can just get it online, that could just secure the fight. The Doomfist so low. Pulls it through, but
oh dear.
Right into the wall. Not able to get much of anything, and now Lava Lily's a chance to bring this back, but I mean, the Sojourn so low, not able to stay alive, but now it's the Blade from Klisa. The Queen so low, it's just the 1v1 on the point. Both members 1 HP, but Klisa wins it out.
Comes down to the 1v1. The Genji and the Tracer desperately dueling to see who takes runes, but eventually it will fall in the favor of the Lava Lilies. So close. So many flubbed ultimates. Such a chaotic fight.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it just comes down to mechanics. The dash coming online for Klisa just in time. Inu has no countenance to that, and what a way to lose your first fight. Jazzy's E-Kittens not starting off for the repeat we predicted, and it looks like they're going over to a Pharah composition. A little bit interesting. The Lucio often isn't said to have too much synergy with the Wrecking Ball and not really enough sustain for the rest of the team, but we'll see if this is punished or not. And the Lava Lilies, they're playing London Spitfire composition. They've got the Bastion, the Symmetra. They're looking to TP on top of probably Botanic, or just take those high grounds, force the point pressure, and hope that that's not punished too much. But the Ryan is boom, so is Joy!
Yeah, I think the team went a little slow. I think Squirtle was a little lost for a second, not sure where the team was gonna go with that TP, and I mean, that gives the time for Jazzy to get there, get the boop, and I mean, that's a brutal way to lose the first fight, and now they're just gonna go for a full comp swap, and that's just a free fight win for Jazzy's E-Kittens.
Oh, that's so rough, and any sort of ult advantage is going to be so slow for these. They're going to have to wait so long to get into a good position with those tools, and well, in the meantime, E-Kittens can just keep pounding them from every which angle. We see how hard it is for Lava Lilies to establish much of any space. It has to be on to Klisa to really mark this far. Squirtle as well can provide a helping hand with those hit scan shots.
Yeah, I mean, Jazzy will have to be quite careful. Some formidable hit scan on the other side, and in the meanwhile, Squirtle's just been able to find out the Lucio of Jazzy's E-Kittens, and with that, Lava Lily should be able to move on over the point, start forcing that, and the longer this fight goes, the bigger that advantage of the Lucio being gone is, but not if the Lucio has the time to come back, so I think Lava Lilies need to push the trigger, but it's on Inu with the Pulse Bomb, finding out Squirtle, nice stick there, and I mean, now Klisa gonna be falling as well, and I mean, all the while, the points just been ticking up in favor of Jazzy's E-Kittens. So, I mean, just the longer this goes, the worse it is for them.
It's been really, really hard for Lavalies to get a consistent target. Feels like Jazzy's been playing cover well enough. The rest of the team just hasn't been facing, and because they've never really gotten a strong advantage and they haven't had a chance to commit, they haven't had a chance to engage with their strong backline. Klisa, Flaccid Botanic might be an opening. We'll see if it allows the point to flip.
Yeah, and then Jazzy now on the Ashe, looking for that kill, not able to quite find it, and maybe missed the opportunity, but I mean, with the flip, and I mean, Jazzy's got no health to work with. Lava Lilies, they're back in it, but 93% for Jazzy's E-Kittens.
And some strong ultimates as well, going to be coming up to 4 on the re-engage. So it's going to be a 9 ultimate fight. So many tools available. So the fight plans are going to be chaotic. It's going to be a light show most definitely, unless somebody just goes down super, super early.
Yeah. And I mean, I think for Lava Lilies, if you want this comeback, you need to win this fight with not too many ultimates. Bob and Nano already been committed, and it's Squirtle the one to go down. I mean, this is going wrong for Lava Lilies. And now, I mean, the support's off the table. Just 2 members of Lava Lilies left all alone, and a barrage still in the pocket of Jazzy, if she even wants to use it. But I mean, Blood Bunny did get Inu, and I mean, while this fight continues, I mean, some members could be respawning here on the side of Lava Lilies, but I mean, Jazzy trying to shut it down, using the barrage, gets Squirtle out, and able to survive crucially. So now, I mean, the advantage still quite heavily in favor of them. The Kiriko, no cooldowns on the objective, going to be hunted down, and Blood Bunny all alone, not going to be able to do much about it. That's going to be Jazzy's E-Kittens. I mean, they should be equalizing it. I mean, some nice stall here from Lava Lilies, but I mean, it should just be the cleanup. And there it is.
Yeah, going 1-1 now, a little bit less close, but still contested, was Lighthouse, which means we're going to have to go to Well as the decider, the Farah composition. When Lava Lilies saw that, they full swapped to full anti-Farah, but it means the rest of the members were pretty uncontested. Jazzy as well was able to play slow enough that all those resources invested into taking her down really didn't catch too much at all. And that's why Lava Lilies really felt so quiet, so slow throughout all of that round. Full swaps now from both teams can be the mirror, more or less. The only difference is going to be the Soldier versus the Sojourn. Soldier can provide a little bit more damage in the kind of poke phase, but the Sojourn has that pick potential, has that additional survivability that comes from the slide that's very, very hard to top. So we'll see which ends up being stronger, or if it just comes down to individuals. Mirrored Genjis as well, not something you get to see too often nowadays.
Yeah. So both teams going to be meeting cage side. Jazzy's E-Kittens able to get a little bit more space off the bat. And I mean, with that, they're going to be able to find out Squirtle. And yeah, I mean, you've got to wonder how, I mean, just not much done there by the E-Kittens. And I mean, a collapse from Lava Lilies.
I'm a little bit curious as to why Jazzy's E-Kit, or Lava Lilies, sorry, elected to play the Soldier 76 and then put the Soldier on basically stacks on the rest of his team. Normally Soldier's played to take an aggressive off angle very, very far away. It's entirely unsupported. You've got the, of course, Biotic Field to keep you up, and at long range your hit scan damage is still pretty consistent, even if it is a little bit low. But I mean, playing kind of Hanzo positioning there realistically and instantly punished for it, and so swapping over to the Sojourn, so full mirror, going to be a little bit easier to play in that particular style. We'll see if it ends up bringing a little bit more reward, paying dividends for the Lava Lilies.
Yeah, as Inu has to be careful, going quite low early, but it's Harmless the one to fall. And I mean, again, it's just looking like clean fight here for Jazzy's E-Kittens, and I mean, just not too much resistance put up.
They're just getting folded over and over again. It feels like with this defensive positioning, then Jazzy, Inu, and Ink can all take off angles around the choke that Lava Lilies are trying to force and blend them as they attempt to walk through. You look at the ult charge, and every member of the E-Kittens is above their counterparts just because each member is getting more work done, more damage especially. And so coming up to 4 ultimates are the E-Kittens. If they just play this a little bit slowly, they'll have such a massive advantage to leverage here. And oh, Inu goes down early, finally advantage for the Lava Lilies.
Yeah, but I mean, ult advantage still in the favor of the E-Kittens quite firmly. They could use that to equalize. Jazzy does have to be careful though. But with the Lucio down, I mean, that should be it. They are still committing. They've used 2 ultimates. Everyone antied, though, by Ink. This is still quite winnable for Jazzy's E-Kittens. And, I mean, they've equalized and more by just excellent ult usage from Ink and Botanic.
Yeah, that was a humongous rampage, catching feels like every single player, and now 98% Blood Bunny going down. There's no chance in hell for the Lava Lilies. Jazzy's E-Kittens are taking Ilios.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a great start. Absolutely what you would have wanted as Jazzy's E-Kittens. I mean, I said it before, but the control map, they did lose to Lava Lilies last time. That was the one map that they lost in that series. So now in the rematch, not just playing the same level to try and beat Lava Lilies again, but clearly showing that they've even improved from yesterday.
Oh, definitely, and really, really were bringing the heat. I have to say, a particular standout would actually be, I think Ink was quite strong overall on the Junker Queen. I saw so much value, especially in that last round. I think it was actually very interesting seeing how almost passively Jazzy was playing, other than that one aggressive blade on Ruins. It feels like it was very, very slow, and that is a style that means you don't get punished very often, and so few openings, I think, was kind of the difference maker between these two teams here. Lava Lilies just conceded a little bit more, and the E-Kittens were able to exploit that.
Yeah, and I mean, but fortunately for Lava Lilies, okay, you lose the first map. It's not what you would have wanted, obviously, but now coming into Hybrid, you do have the map pick, and you do have a couple of options that could work out for you here. I think they're probably going to go for KR. I think that's been their preferred choice in the past, to run more of the Junker Queen stuff, maybe even a little bit of Reinhardt if they so choose, the good old-fashioned, but they do have some options here. They could also go for maybe Eichenwald, but I think whatever they do choose will be better for what they want to run than Ilios was.
It's very hard to disagree with that. I mean, if they wanted to play that Reinhardt, I mean, they could do so without getting environmental killed, like happened on Ilios, you know?
Oh, no.
It also kind of stops some of these kind of dive angle comps that the E-Kittens are really trying to bring out. Of course, we haven't actually seen any Zarya so far, so maybe that could come into effect if we go to Kings Row. I think both teams opting for the Junker Queen allows a lot of the kind of same ranges, the same compositions, but I guess if you don't have competence on that hero, then no point bringing it, and yeah, it will be Kings Row. I will say, Fifi, find me an Overwatch team who doesn't want to play Kings Row, I'll give you a $5. Everyone loves Kings Row.
Everyone loves Kings Row, but I mean, yeah, and I think funnily enough, another option here for Lava Lilies. I don't think they're gonna go for it because I think they just love these brawl compositions too much. But they could go KR as kind of a feint, right? Like, oh yeah, we're gonna keep playing the brawl, and then maybe they run out on a Pharah or something to catch off Jazzy's E-Kittens. So I doubt it. I don't think we've seen anything like that from them. But I mean, even though they have selected Kings Row already, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily forced to just play the brawl.
No, not at all. I think Kings Row has been pigeonholed a little bit by the Overwatch community as a map where you're forced to play Brawl, just because of what we ended up doing in kind of 2016 through 2020 or so.
Yeah.
But nowadays, people play everything there. You know, once we kind of realized how strong flankers could be when you kind of run them only through the high grounds and just kind of flatten any poke supports you might have positioned up there through first and second, then it really opened up the board to playing pretty much everything. Lots and lots of dive. Genji and Tracer can run absolutely rampant should you so choose. Of course, Brawl running down main as a 5-man unit, or the old Slambulance, something like that. Also very common. The only thing we don't see much of is kind of a poke composition. Even that, if you want to bunker down on the high ground, is something that you could go towards, and honestly, I wouldn't hate it. Lava Lilies, though, in spawn, hovering the full Reinhardt composition. This is something that we kind of did expect to see from them. Jazzy's E-Kittens on the Queen as well. More of the same. Going to be very curious to see how these two teams decide to interact, because at the close range, in just the 1v1, then Blood Bunny will be winning out the 1v1 into Ink. but it's about the DPS, it's about setting up those win cons that are going to be what brings Jazzy's E-Kittens the victory here, shutting down Squirtle as they try to take an angle perhaps, maybe trying to get onto the backline. And of course the rails from Inu as well kick out absolutely clutch.
Yep.
No Symmetra actually is going to be a little bit interesting from Lava Lily. It's going to be the elusive speed, the only mobility. As the doors do open, running out now, Lava Lily's looking to bring the series to 1-1. Jazzy's E-Kittens looking to get their repeat completed here on King's Row.
Yep. And I think this kind of plays into Lava Lily's. I mean, already a Fire Strike.
Oh.
And Jazzy's Eakins didn't really have many angles set up, probably expecting the Junker Queen mirror. And I mean, Lava Lily's just punished them beautifully. And already, I mean, first point, like one of the fastest takes I've ever seen.
Inu just folded. I guess it was like a Bastion nade, maybe a Mei headshot, and the Fire Strike as well. But either way, no Sojourn, absolutely no chance. So 5 minutes, 45 seconds going to be the time bank to push through second. And it feels like a completion of this phase of the map is absolutely teed up on a silver platter for the Lava Lilies. Being very patient here, actually, deciding not to press their advantage as the poke phase happens. Looks like they're trying to play off the cart pressure, and Jazzy's E-Kitten's content to not engage, but Jazzy!
Again, it's just a first pick out of nowhere onto Jazzy's Eakins. I don't know, maybe they're just over-peeking, over-poking. And Lava Lily's just, they try to run in, but this time the Eakins are a little bit smarter about it. They kite, they don't absolutely lose out.
Yeah, just overconfident, maybe? I don't even know. Jazzy will be back in short order, so we should have a proper team fight coming up. Huge, plenty of pressure onto Blood Bunny, who has to back.
Yeah, and I mean, it's already the window, and I mean, Window Bastion is so much damage to run into, but they're going to use the rush. They're still going to try and run it, and they just go right on past. Lots of members for Lava Lily's low, and I mean, that's just the dam opening. Everyone's going to be going down as Jazzy's E-Kittens just run on in. And I mean, now they have a couple options. They could, I mean, they're gonna just go back and hold the arch though.
Yeah, I think holding Arch is kind of the best play. It forces everyone into that choke, and when you have ults like the Rampage, like the Dragon Blade, then that could be a death knell for the Lava Lilies. Harmless's beat is going to be so important, so Jazzy's Eakin's very likely to try and force it with one and kill with the other. See if that's what they end up doing as they walk through the choke right now.
Oh, and that's the Shatter already out, but it does just get Suzu'd on up. Jazzy in the back with the blade looking for something, but only finding the shields from a beat, and now stuck all the way behind, but that could be creating another angle for Lava Lilies to worry about. But I mean, now they're just all antied on up. The lamp already expended, and the follow-up is excellent from Jazzy's E-Kittens, and Lava Lilies once again sent back to spawn. And Spectrion, I want to remind you, 6 minutes coming into Streets phase, already 2.5 burned out.
And it's a humongous mistake, I think, from the Lava Lilies not to punish Jazzy blading into the backline where they burned their dash so early, but no one decides to turn and look at the Genji, who just manages to escape for free, and it's a 5v5 for the E-Kittens when they engage in on the Rampage. Hopefully that's not something we'll see again as the window opens up the fight.
Yeah, and I mean, just so much damage. I mean, even that Icicle just took Ink down to half HP, but they're going to still have to use the Blizzard to secure this fight as Squirtle had gone down. Still winnable here for the Eakins, but with the Junker Queen gone, you would think this is kind of a done deal. And I mean, it took a minute, but Lava Lilies can get back with their foot on the gas.
And that's a Rampage you'd really like back when you think about things. Pops, what, 2-on-5, 3-on-5, and absolutely no value found. So that's a Kiriko ultimate consigned into nothingness. Just equalizing the ult economy a little bit. Lava Lilies, obviously, don't have too much. Just the Shatter from Blood Bunny is going to be coming up, and the Overclock from Inu is going to be the main tool of choice for the E-Kittens here. Over these Lone Silence can really ruin a Brawl composition. See if it ends up doing so.
Yeah. Early wall not quite able to find anything, so now Lava Lilies have to be careful, have to back up the Shatter. Able to catch, but the Suzu to respond, but I mean, not before Inu has gone down. And now again, Lava Lily's just going to be able to run on in off the back of those early pickoffs. And with that, they're going to be able to get second point capped up, but again, I mean, a lot of time burned off there from Jazzy's Ekins, so you're not too upset about this.
You're not, no, but you still regretting your hold at first more than anything else, no? That being said, they have had some time to bank their ultimates, and so they got plenty of tools to try and get a hold here, and here is one of the strongest points on third to try and get something going. Rampage into Blade, maybe the window fire strike.
Oh, no!
Gets deflected.
Oh no, but I mean, it is traded and the wall blocks the Junker Queen ult. I mean, that's just absurd there from Kalisa. And I mean, it's just going to be a stalemate. Both teams going to back up out of that trade.
What is that?
Now Lava Lilies, though, taking the chance to re-engage, and Ink just caught on out. And Lava Lilies just going to run in off of its Squirtle, is mowing everyone down on the Bastion, and Jazzy's Ekin's just going to have to reset back to spawn.
Just using the Bastion shift to walk forward, knowing full well that there's nothing the E-Kittens can do without dumping ults, and they're not particularly willful to do so in that position, so the recontest has to come through, but the Blizzard on point is going to absolutely ruin the day of the E-Kittens. The beat to counter, Blade popped as well from Jazzy, stunned up, stunned down!
And now, I mean, the Blade is gone. That was one of the biggest tools, the Overclock, the only thing kind of left here for the E-Kittens, but if Inu can't find anything with that, I mean, the Junker Queen, 1 HP on the point, the Suzu expended, the Shatter goes down, and the tank removed. No one left to get on the point. And Lava Lily's gonna cap with 1:48.
An attack round you're going to be very, very happy with if you are the Lava Lilies. Managed to get an absolute gift with Eno falling so first early, and manages to convert it in a respectable manner from there. Of course, a 6-minute time bank almost seems difficult not to, but other teams have fallen on that particular hurdle, so hats off to them for not doing so. And the E-Kittens, honestly, it was a fine play for most of it, but that one pick absolutely ruined their day. Inu stepping out a little bit too wide, shot themselves in the foot. And so it's a bit of a disadvantage that the E-Kittens are going to have to play for. Gonna have to, I think, provide that same value on the attacking side. The Sojin Rail is going to be such a huge part of that same composition, trying to get kills. I'm gonna not talk about what the E-Kittens are hovering in spawn for a while, and it's going to be more of the same for the Lava Lilies. They are very fond of this Reinhardt composition. I mean, why not? It was paying out pretty well for them. The dividends absolutely there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we should talk about this. I mean, there's a chance a couple of these are just a troll pick and spawn, but I don't know. Jazzy seem to favor this Pharah so far, and if you expect the other team on the Reinhardt, the Pharah definitely is a pretty solid option.
I think there's definitely some truth to that, and yeah, they are going to be running out on this, which is very, very interesting. Just to be playing around the Bastion cycles. If the Bastion's in that wheels mode, nothing I think that Jazzy can do, but if not, free reign in the skies. Squirtle's going to have to keep Jazzy in check. You'll see if they can do so.
Yeah, and I mean, with all the space this Pharah is gaining for the team, they're just going to be able to move over to the point. But Lava Lily's trying to go for a little bit of flank through Hotel, but now they're just running into the rockets here from Jazzy. And I mean, a pick is found onto Inu, but it's just not going to matter as air supremacy here for the E-Kittens, and that's going to be a first point take about as fast as Lava Lily's.
Feels like nobody can hold the first point of Kings today. Just lightning fast caps coming across from both teams, and of course this was all just Jazzy. 76% to a barrage. They were able to get so much work done. Lovely's totally unable to challenge them in the air, and with that, the can opener opens up the point. It's going to have to be a little bit, I think, more attention paid. Perhaps Botanic or Joy, sorry, can put a little bit more attention into the Pharah, because it felt like it was absolutely uncontested back there, but not this fight. Absolutely gone is Botanic, and so too, one would argue, would be the chances of the E-Kittens here.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be interesting, this next fight, though. I mean, there's Jazzy's all the way behind, and I wonder what Lava Lilies are going to do about this.
I mean, is there anything you have to do about this? Maybe just engage onto the front line with the window popped early. This is such a chaotic fight. The barrage down early. Good for the one. Will be traded at least.
Yeah, now there's a Mercy caught behind your team, but I mean, still a chance for either squad here, as it was just a 1-1 trade, though. A lot of pressure there onto Inu. able to survive. Still does have that overclock online, and I mean, it's a window, gets walled off at least for the moment, and Ink taking a lot of pressure. Botanic as well, 1 HP, able to get the lamp down though and survive. And I mean, with the spawn advantage, Jazzy coming on back, this should be quite winnable here for the Eakins. A lot of ults still on board for them as well, and I mean, they're kind of now breaking the bunker. Klisa going down, Blood Bunny 1 HP over there, also going to fall, and the arch hold will be broken.
Finally, the point will be cracked over. A decent hold, I think, for the Lava Lilies, making changes now. Squirtle's over to the Soldier 76. I think they maybe think that he can provide a little bit more long-range pressure, a little bit more damage onto Jazzy. I think maybe not my personal hit scan of choice. Cassidy would be, I think, a little bit stronger here because Soldier does kind of like that burst damage. It can be very hard to catch people out of position in the same way that this Gunslinger can, but we'll see if Impact is able to be found here. Harmless, though, instantly picked off. The Lucio gone for the Brawl Comp has absolutely ruined their chances of recontesting here.
Yeah. I mean, now you don't have the speed to even try to run someone down before the Pharah just kills you, as Jazzy now will just be able to unleash the barrage if they even need it, as now the lamp also gone for the Lava Lilies. They will have the visor, though, so maybe still a chance if they can catch out that Pharah or the Mercy, but now everyone is pulled together. Lisa's stuck on the point. The Shatter not able to find anything there, but I mean, Inu still does have to invest the overclock here, and Jazzy going down. Inu as well, the DPS gone here for Jazzy's Eakins. They may have squandered just an excellent opportunity, as, I mean, now with the damage just removed from the side of the Eakins, Lava Lilies going to be able to move forward, maybe even kind of staggering the Orisa here.
All I can really say is that it looks like the Eakins were playing with their food a little bit. They had plenty of chances to close that fight out. For example, Jazzy could have popped their barrage into Ink's Terror Surge to get a great combo, at least distract so much attention to allow one or the other to find value, but instead holds it, plays so passively up in the rafters, and as a result of that, there's no killer instinct, there's no go button for the E-Kittens to kind of capitalize on Harmless going down so early, and that means this Brawl Comp can be set up defensively. Barrage, though, coming in, getting two, and the third.
Oh, and Jazzy just once again on the flank, and I mean, no one responding in time, and now it's just Blood Bunny on the cart, gonna get cleaned up, and that's gonna be second point for the E-Kittens, just blown open by that barrage.
They got absolutely flattened there, so much damage, and because they were so focused on fighting the front line, nobody paid attention to Jazzy and Baptiste main as they made their way into the back line. Beat a little bit too slow, and Harmless will be swapping over to the Mercy here to give Squirts a little bit more help in the duel against the Pharah. Diva as well from Blood Bunny, so all their eggs are going to be in this one basket. Klisa on the Mei going to be the only difference, has the Blizzard, but I think we'll be swapping as well after there. One really does have to question what the value from the Mei is. There's very little people to wall off, there's very little like close range punish, the same kind of value we're looking for on a Mei here.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess you've got to hope to get the Orisa when she doesn't have cooldowns, or maybe the Baptiste, but I mean, you've got to be running all the way in. But I mean, even without the Blizzard being used, they're able to find out Jazzy. Squirtle, though, overstepping, still a chance here for the Eakins in this fight. And I mean, with the Valk online, they could maybe get a res onto Jazzy. Not quite going to be able to get that, but with Joy down now, no one's there to really be helping Blood Bunny, who's going quite low. And I mean, the Mei going down, I mean, you stick on her for the Blizzard, but I mean, never getting a chance to use it. Just has to go down on the cart, and now it's going to be a pretty desperate stall fight here for Lava Lilies if they can even get back in time.
I think they do have at least a chance for the recontest. Harmless going to be staking on the Mercy for the ult. Yeah, Jazzy can pop a barrage as well. Manages to step past the Diva. So much pressure on Baptiste. Oh, manages to live.
Oh, the Blizzard onto the point, though, is able to freeze one, and the bomb as well. They're at least buying time here. They get the res off. Oh, not quite able to get it off with the Valk. And with that, I mean, just a couple scraps of the Lava Lilies on the point here. The Tracer going to be able to stall for a little bit, but I mean, that should just be about it. Jazzy's E-Kittens should be able to cap. I mean, if this keeps going on, you start to get a little bit worried as all the members keep coming back. The lamp able to get on the cart, but nice work from Ink there to spin the members off the objective, and they will cap with a minute on the board.
I'm not sure I'm in love with the Lava Lily's kind of gambit throughout most of that attack. I think they really were trying to shut down Jazzy on that Pharah, but as I previously mentioned, Jazzy plays very, very passive on the Pharah 9 times out of 10, and so you're going to be spending a lot of resources to catch a mistake that I don't think they're all that likely to make, and so in retrospect, perhaps I would have liked to see maybe some pressure onto Inu, onto Botanic, who were essentially uncontested basically the entire round and were still finding their own individual value. And so maybe next time, if they do manage to go to a next time, it would go to a map 3 perhaps, and that adjustment could be made for the Lava Lilies, but instead we are into extra innings. It's going to be a minute for the attack, a minute 52 will be played out in just a little bit later. Lava Lilies not in too bad a spot, still technically do have the advantage, and yes, Squirtle will be over to the Cassidy. We'll have that magnetic grenade as well to ground the Pharah should Jazzy get a little bit uppity. But the Soldier 76 obviously wasn't working out. Hopefully the Gunslinger can a little bit more for the side of the Lava Lilies. Cleaser as well onto the Symmetra. I think first time we're seeing this in the Rhine composition, other than, of course, their failed Gambit on Ilios.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of bizarre. I mean, the Sim will be quite an easy target for a Pharah, I feel, but it does give an opportunity for Lava Lilies to maybe just teleport onto a Baptiste or a Sojourn who have gone a little too far. As there it is, they're gonna TP. Not gonna take it though, as I mean, would have just been running straight into the rockets of Jazzy, but Squirtle was able to find out a pick. Gonna be just rezzed right back on up, and now I mean, Lava Lily's getting kind of corralled into a corner here. They're gonna have to make something work, and ooh, Jazzy gonna still have to be careful. I mean, Squirtle quite good on that Cassidy, but I mean, a nice boop, and all of the members of Lava Lilies just kind of stuck in the open after that one. And I mean, Squirtle in the back, not going to be able to find out. Jazzy not going to be able to find out anything, and that's first point once more to the E-Kittens.
You need to be able to punish that res if you are the Lava Lilies. Resing essentially in the open, down one player, you need to be able to get the kill there. Really, really rough that they couldn't do that, and that's why Jazzy E-Kittens can push so deep. Look how much space they've taken. Look at what ults they've built. It's a very, very rough scenario for the Lava Lilies here. They're minute 52 on the time bank, maybe not looking like so big anymore.
Yeah, I will say though, a window and a high noon online already, which you probably don't expect as Jazzy's E-Kittens.
Jazzy's lucky with the barrage.
Okay, they know. They're aware of that Jazzy's here, so they should be able to shield it off or use the lamp for it, as the high noon from Squirtle will be the difference. Jazzy's just kind of stuck there to rot. I mean, Ink going to go down even with the Fortify on the objective. And I mean, sure, there's a window, sure, there's an overclock, and I mean, you've got to be a little bit careful as Lava Lilies, but that's going to be all that Jazzy's E-Kittens get on their attack. And now it's on Lava Lilies. Can they do better with a minute 52?
I mean, I'm not sure that extra 52 seconds is going to make the difference here. It does allow them one extra fight, but honestly, the E-Kittens is going to be so happy with where that attack round has pushed them. Just past the arch will be where the payload ends. And that's such a massive go of things. Yes, it is worth mentioning that it does mean that now 3 times the first point of King's Row has been capped inside of a minute. But you're not looking to take those odds an extra time if necessary. You'd have loved the full hold there, and it was an opportunity. So unfortunate choke for the Lava Lilies. And over to the Mei Bastion again. Very curious that they don't like to combo the Symmetra Bastion for that quick off-angle pressure. But it looks like it's a choice they're making pretty consistently. The E-Kittens not making any changes, still on this Sojourn Pharah composition. Remember, we spoke earlier about maybe wanting to punish Inu Botanic a little bit more. We'll see if that ends up happening. But they're playing very passively by the looks of things, so it shouldn't be an opportunity just yet. Now, coming in, this could be the last 2 minutes of this series. It's a do or die moment for the Lava Lilies, and for their sake, we best hope they do it.
Yeah, my concern here, though, is for Jazzy's E-Kittens, is I'm already seeing them, like, corralled in this corner. That, I mean, before Lava Lilies were able to force them there, and then they were able to win the fight off of it, but, I mean, they're just starting there, but Lava Lily's gonna opt to go back to spawn, switch over to the Cassidy and the Symmetra once more.
Really curious what they think the value of the Symmetra is here, actually. It's been a pick they're going towards consistently, but of course, no hit scan, short range on the beam. Seems very hard to get pressure onto much of anyone. Harmless instantly railed, though. Inu getting the opening pick.
Yeah. And I mean, with that, I mean, just going to be a quick fight here for Jazzy's E-Kittens. And I mean, crucially, they're going to start building up to these ultimates. And even if they don't get those in time to hold on to first point, they should get them in time for the fight at the archway. So, I mean, this isn't looking great for Lava Lilies.
That's the advantage that you had from the additional time bank gone. So 50 seconds going to be have to where Lava Lilies differentiate themselves, where they get their cap going, and so far it hasn't looked amazing from them. Establishing now, pushing past the statue. It's going to be a rough job, but Jazzy, again, so passive, maybe could be harassing his rotation a little bit more. They're going to have to hope that stylistic change is the mistake that cost the Kittens here.
I mean, Jazzy's just playing on the ground. May as well just be a Junkrat right now, but now Squirtle with the high noon online. And I mean, that's going to force all the members of the E-Kittens to hide in the hotel. It will go down, but that is a tick gained and a lot of space now available. But the window going through and a Jazzy in the back line, a lot for the Lava Lilies to worry about, and that's your hit scan already down. The barrage once again from Jazzy, finding two. Blood Bunny wiped off of the point, and there's no one left and no time either. Jazzy's E-Kittens will secure the revenge match 2-0, sending Lava Lilies down to the lower bracket.
They come back for the revenge match, looking to improve on their previous victory, and this time it's near flawless. Getting the win out in the overtime. That defense was ironclad. No answers from the Lava Lilies, trying to counter Jazzy's hyper-passive Pharaoh. The Orisa composition, not something we see very often, but clearly it's working out absolutely amazingly for the E-Kittens. That means Lava Lilies will be sent down to the losers bracket. They're going to have only one more chance to stay alive in this tournament. It's going to have to be absolutely perfect should they want to go any deeper.
Yeah, and I mean, I think they definitely can. I mean, the score says 2-0, and I mean, I do think Jazzy's E-Kittens were in control for a good bit, but I mean, Lava Lily is definitely a team with a lot of potential, and I think, you know, they clean up on a few mistakes they were making, and I think, honestly, if they're a little more confident in the comps that they're running, because, I mean, they have looked good, but then they're switching it up, and I don't even think they necessarily have needed to all these times, so I think a little more confidence, they clean up a few of these mistakes, and they absolutely could make a run in lowers.
I think that is definitely fair, but of course, I think we also have to spare a moment to talk about just the E-Kittens and what it's kind of strange style they end up playing. Often you see with Overwatch, you see kind of a very defined kind of poke phase and then a go phase. You know, with your Pharaoh, you often see them engaging with the concussion mine, but it feels like they're just poking the entire game and it's working out for them. So hats off to them, who will be going just a little bit deeper, but I do believe that's all we have for a hot second, but I think we're going to a short break, and when we're back, we have another game for you. Winners semi-finals, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, we'll see you guys then.
inside here, you get an insight and you know something, but you don't want to say it out loud because you're kind of afraid that it's not going to be really true and it'll spoil the whole thing for you, But when somebody makes you say it, then, and it's true, then it just makes it more beautiful of a thing.
Got lots of love. Love. Got lots of love.
And welcome back. We're here with some new faces and with some new teams. You got me, K-Wing, here with Spectrian. Spectrian, how are you doing? And are you excited to be moving on to our next group of teams and going to the other side of the bracket now with Yas versus Yippee Carry?
Yeah, we've got another rematch for you guys today, of course. Earlier, we just had one going exactly the way we expected it to, and Yas and Yippee Carry. Then we kind of can maybe see some more of that happening. Yas, these two teams they previously played. Of course, Yas took the victory, and so it's Yippee Carry who's trying to get some revenge here. Yas looking to repeat the feat. But, well, I think it was relatively close in the previous game. I think there really was a chance for Yippee Carry to take the victory, and so definitely they're coming into this with some extra passion, perhaps reinvigorated to try and get their rematch done in this winners semi. So it should be a very, very fun one coming into this game. I'm pretty excited, I have to say.
Yeah, and I mean, you talked about the group stage, and that's a big one, but this is the bracket stage. This is do or die for these teams. They want to keep themselves in the upper bracket, and if they want to go and face the winner of that other side, I believe I don't have the bracket up. Oopsies. Whatever. Going to face in that winner's finals to potentially face up against the team that we saw just a few moments ago.
Quick look at the roster sheet for us. Yas going to be first up on the chopping block, and that's Sabotabi, Dominic, Sylvia, Noya, and Alexia. I believe they don't have too many subs, but either way, this will be the starting roster. It's going to be the 5 players we see in the server first, and a couple of these players have been around the scene more than a couple times. Sabotabi, of course, has a bit of a history playing in the Cooling All Heroes tournaments, as so do I think most of these players actually.
Yeah, this is like your little like sneak peek at what could potentially be for the latter half of Calling All Heroes for Minor 3 and that major tournaments coming up as they get towards the end of that. But I mean, the Kunoichi Kerfuffle, definitely a worthwhile tournament in its own right, with its own fantastic prize at the end. And we have their opponents, Yippee Carry, coming in. We've got some wonderful names on that side. You got Unlucky Main, Santix, Terry. You got Sunshine on the DPS. And then you got Reese's Feces coming in on that DPS role.
Good God, what a timeline we live in. I think the interesting thing about Yippee Carry is actually that they do have 4 support players listed, 2 main supports, 2 flex supports, which are not something you see every day. I guess it does give you the some great specialization perhaps into maybe playing Lucio, into playing Brigitte, into playing Mercy. I think most main supports can only play maybe 2 of the 3 realistically, but you got the double flex supports as well should you want to play something like a Baptiste, Iliari. Just the 2 DPS players, but Sunshine has shown her mettle more than once, and I think Reese's Feces, not someone I'm massively aware of. I can't, not with that name. But it's just the 2 DPS players, but they should have the whole gamut of the characters covered, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that they should. And we do have our first map for this game. We're going to be going to the sunny beaches of Ilios. And I mean, Spec, you know, you and I, we are professionals. We've been doing this a long time. So we are going to give our promise to you that we will be professional and adult, and we will not laugh when we talk about Reese's Feces projectile play.
I'm not sure I can promise that. I'm going to be so real with you. I'm not fully sure I can promise that. If you told me to bet money on it, I would at least think twice.
Looks like we've got pretty similar compositions with that, with a bit of a tank swap. DPS line's the same, but some support difference and some tank difference coming for both these teams.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Zarya and the Junker Queen are more of a stylistic difference than anything else. I think a lot of people nowadays would argue that the Zarya is going to be a little bit more powerful, but in the way they slot into compositions, it's much the same. You're using your cooldowns in your shower or your bubble to enable your DPS, typically your Genji, and you're running at people and using your close range damage to shut them down. I think the really interesting change is Alexia on the Ana, not a choice you see too often. Going to be very, very easy for Terra, Reese's, and Sunshine to punish. But the Nana boost on Sabatabi could come up absolutely humongous. We'll see if it ends up happening. As Dominic early on just establishing on a passive angle, spamming damage and trying to build up that rail charge.
Yeah, trying to, as the engage is going to come in with the Junker Queen. There's that commanding shot already, throwing in the Carnage, a great bubble to mitigate the effects of that, as it's just Yippee-Kari rolling through. Reese's picking up that first pick, and it'll all fall into place after that as they pepper in the shurikens to take point.
I do think the composition that Yes is playing is a little bit weaker than Yippee-Kari's, and maybe one could attribute that first fight losing to the difference between the Zarya and the JQ. Just the Zarya going to be winning out that 1v1 more often than not, and so opening cap will be garnered by Yippee-Kari, who can now start building their ultimates and using their defensive position to punish as much as possible. Very, very deep comes the dive from Oya, but no fatalities just yet.
Yeah, Oyas trying their best here, but there's the Junker Queen again going down. Cilia just struggling, but Sabo picks up one, but it's just not enough for Yippee-Kari. It's all going their way, and Ayas switching to the Reinhardt.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. The Reinhardt here, I guess, is to try and bully Zarya at the close range, but that's such a strange pick. You do have the Nana boost onto Alexia, which I was about to say could go on Sabatabi on the Genji, but she swapped over to the Bastion, so it's still maybe a viable target, but plenty of changes, plenty of non-standard Overwatch, and with the Bastion walking forward, there's nothing Terra can do but hide.
Yeah, they have to get out of there, but they're vulnerable to the Genji. The beat's gonna come in to try and keep them up, but can't. Noya gonna go down with beat in hand. There's the old pop from Dominic, but can't get enough. There's the old from Yippee-Kari trying to keep this up. A shot from Dominic, taking out the aggression from Yippee-Kari and keeping Ayas in the game.
Yeah, lovely shooting from Dominic does allow them to survive, but this fight is still ongoing with the respawn. Santix, Reese's, Terra all doing their best to keep this point under contention to stop Oyas from garnering too much of an advantage and win that window. It looks like the blue team will have to drop off. Yippee-Kari have closed out this fight somehow, but good God, was it close, and that has allowed at least Oyas to begin charging into their own ults. The beat from Noya could absolutely tear Yippee-Kari to shreds, shut down the blade of Reese's as well. I believe the Shatter also charging up, but lovely shurikens to absolutely fold the hit scan.
Incredible, and I mean, there's two picks early on from Yippee-Kari, but the BAP of Yippee-Kari gone. Santix falls, and there's the pump in. Blade reflecting, takes out the Ana, takes out the Reinhardt, and Yippee-Kari takes a solid first pick, solid first round, and a solid statement on map 1.
And solid is really what you do have to end up calling this, don't you? I mean, look, they were in control for almost the entirety of the round. Even if they didn't actually have control of the point, then it looked they had a plan. They were just disengaging until they could re-engage, and I think Oyas were looking a little bit lost. Cilia over to their patented Roadhog, a pick I think we saw in the World Cup more often than not, but the hero right now, I'm not sure has the individual strength to justify this. We'll see what they've scrimmed, we'll see what they've cooked. Maybe there's something they know and I don't, but looking at the compositions just in spawn, one has to give the advantage to Yippee-Kari. Sunshine in spawn, just going to be on the Symmetra for the TP out, but going to be looking like more of the same. But I think everyone has to pay attention to this Roadhog because it's going to be so feast or famine for Oyas.
That it will, and it's all up to Cilia, and I really am excited for the Sabotabi Tracer. It's just the patented hero for them, so maybe that'll be the disruption, the pressure onto Santix that Oyas needs. So those are the two players to watch if you're the Oyas fans. Really looking for a turnaround, and Sabotabi has just died to the Baptiste. That's a huge loss, because it means Santix can focus right forward. It's awful now, and the Zarya has no fear. Cavalier pushing forward, and Yippee Carry, they're not going to get first point capture, but they are currently looking strong. And Oyas, I mean, they're just trying to stagger it out and stall forward, but eventually they will go down as the hook comes in onto the Lucio, who just wall rides right out of there. An extended fight, and Oyas hooked into the well. Terra goes down, but Alexia does get taken out. Oyas just cannot seem to find the advantage, but they're fine to just keep trading tit for tat here. As, I mean, why not at this point? Good shot onto the Tracer. Sabotabi has not been able to find their niche, and after 30-some percentage, nearly 40, going to come in after these stalls. Oyas, I mean, they lose the first fight, but it doesn't feel like that, Spec.
I'm just so confused, and Sylvia's sticking on the Roadhog. I guess you do have the opportunity for environmentals, but other than the one kill on Terra, I'm not sure the Roadhog has made back all that the investment from Oyas has been. DPS ults for Yippee Carry should be very strong on the defense. The Orisa as well can be great at shutting down the Roadhog. The Road, I think, for Oyas has to be the big ticket item that breaks them in, and comboed with the Roadhog, it's going to be so much damage. Terra folded, but the tanks will at least be traded 1-for-1.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage onto the Orisa, but big damage coming in from the DPS. Sabotabi hitting the Pulse Bomb onto the Lucio. Quick flip for Oyas.
I do like the idea of comboing the Roadhog ultimate with the Road. Just an absolutely absurd amount of DPS, and when the Orisa uses Fortify with that knockback negation, remember how much damage that ultimate does at close range. So Terra's 600 odd HP just goes to 0 in a matter of milliseconds by the looks of things, and now Risa's with a Dragon Blade. Neuer's going to have to pull this one out fast if they want to live and stop this catching huge value.
The beat comes in, and the Terra Surge is going to find one, but their BAP is gone. Beat coming in is going to try and keep them alive, but it doesn't look like it's going to keep them up for too long. There's the Blade, 1 slash, 2 slice for the Genji, and Yippee Carry keeps it up for just a little longer. Have to be perfect though.
But giving up all this control means that Oyas have garnered so much percentage, and that's percentage that Yippee Carry otherwise would have gained. It's only 45%, even though they've won, what, 3 fights at this point? This is an absolutely insane scenario for Oyas, who's winning purely off of point pressure. Yes, they do have ult advantage in this fight, and yes, they have been winning out these fights more often than not, but Yippee Carry still very, very behind in point cap, and Lucky Mane going down is not a great way to start.
It's a horrid way to start. The Amplification Matrix is out, but it's not gonna save Terra, who's gone. The Pulse Bomb's there with a shot from Sunshine to take out Sabotabi. That could be the start of the turnaround that Yippee Carry needs, but it's not enough. They lose their Baptiste, they lose everything, and that's Oyas flipping the point back. They are not out of this just yet, as the Doom Fist of Terror is gonna jump in right over top. Unlucky Mane is playing with fire on this Lucio positioning. Both Lucios going to get traded out, but you need more than just trades if you're Yippee Carry. Because Oyas, they're going to unleash the Kitsune Rush, and it'll send them straight to round 3 of map 1. A solid performance and just an absolutely bonkers round there. What point presence from Oyas?
If I had to categorize that as anything, I'd probably say it was a bit of a mistake from Yippee Carry, really forgetting about the point in a couple situations, and that meant that they had far less than their fair share of percentage when push came to shove. So I think that's going to have to be an error they patch quickly if they don't want it to go much the same way. Of course, it's going to be a little bit harder for Sylvia to get those environmental kills on that Roadhog here on Lighthouse, but it's still a possibility. Sunshine actually going over to the Bash and looking to punish. We'll see if it ends up happening. And other than that, it doesn't look like there's any changes much, if anywhere. So Yippee Carry's going to really focus around that Bastion cooldown. When you're in that turret form, they walk forward, they put the pressure on, and when not, they play slow and just look to hold Yas at bay. We'll see if this change pays dividends or if it is actually a mistake. But as you see early, instantly Sylvia on the point and no one there to clear them out.
Yeah, Sylvia is just putting pressure on the point, and a melee kill onto Reese's, the great opener for Ayas. They're gonna have some point presence in the self bubble from the Zarya is going to get absolutely shredded. A double kill for Sylvia, and they're gonna pick up a third incredible Roadhog play. Hey guys, the point.
Yeah, that is kind of my worry with the Bash, and it lacks flexibility. It lacks the ability to position aggressively, and also lacks pick potential if no one positions hyper aggressively. And with the composition of Oyas, that was never really a possibility. And so yeah, back over to the Sojourn. This is a pick I like a lot more. And Terra over to the Winston. Very interesting, looking to hard avoid Sylvia by the looks of things, ruin Oyas's off angles, collapse onto point once that's done. This is actually an idea I like, but the execution is going to have to be picture perfect from Yippee Carry. Dominic going down is a great start.
And now they have the pressure onto the Kiriko, has to use the Suzu just to protect herself, but can't stay alive much longer. It'll be one pick for Sylvia, but they're going to get chased down. Finds another. Sylvia, the boop onto Terra. Oh my gosh. Yippee Carry had such a good first advantage, and now somehow they've lost it.
I really couldn't tell you what happened. I guess in the chaos of the broken down team fight, the Roadhog was able to find so much value there, and you see how much pressure it's putting instantly onto Terra, who has to play so restricted. Nano Boost should be coming up relatively close, but the Pulse Bomb!
Sabo Tabby just hits a massive punch right to the core of Yippee Carry. There's nothing they can do without the Ana. They're sustained, busted, shattered on the ground like stained glass.
Point percentage ticking up is going to have to be the Nano Blade, I think, from Yippee Carry. That has to be the tool to crack them open, because so far not much of anything else has gotten going. Stantix, Reese's both about 85% to their ultimates, so just a little bit. They're both going to be active. Unlucky main with the beat. In fact, they have 5 ultimates to use to Yippee Carry, but with the hook, with their lack of angles, they're not looking too amazing.
Noya and Alexia are both gone. The beat comes in to protect them, but protect them from what? Stantix is gone. The ults from the Roadhog. Sylvia thinks it's winnable, and the Sojourn's off the map, just trying to zone off the point, trying to force the Hog 9. Can they do it? They have the take a breather. They're going to use it. They're going to stay on, see how many ults they can draw out. The blade comes out. They'll have no Nano Blade for this next fight, and they're still gonna die. The Kitsune Rush comes in onto point, takes out the Lucio. Nano comes in onto the Winston to try and keep him alive. And now it is the Sunshine from off the point. Gets 2 picks, but it's not enough for Yippee Carry. They came in with everything and the kitchen sink, and they come out not only not taking that round, not only not taking that map, but they come out with not a single point on the board for round 3. What a turnaround from Ayas.
I'm honestly speechless. I don't think I've seen a Roadhog composition played since Overwatch 1. Sylvia brings it out here and manages to pay out dividends. They lost in what I call the quote-unquote meta composition, but once they go over to their own weirdness, and suddenly it starts out winning. You just see Cappy playing on the point like a goblin, waiting for Yippee Carry to come to them and then punishing in the chaotic team fights. Every single time it went down to a 2-2 or 1-1, the Roadhog was winning it out, and that is kind of the value of that particular hero, I think. Not amazing at playing with the team, not amazing at kind of setting up the win conditions that high level of which you normally likes to do, but in the 1v1s, you're winning those things out 9.5 times out of 10. That's, I think, why Oyas are in control, why they managed to take Ilios, but that's not something I think we're going to see much of even going forward into the future, I think this is just Sylvia being incredible at one hero, because I don't think many other people are ever going to be bringing out the Roadhog.
Well, I mean,
God.
here's the thing, Spec. I mean, you say we're not going to see too much of it in the future, but I mean, you can get incredibly far by pulling out some crazy compositions. I mean, if you want an example of a team going incredibly far, look no further than the parent organization of Ayas. Yeah, coming in with their absolutely bonkersburg compositions and doing incredibly well off of it. So I think that there's so much potential here for Ayas to go forward, to really show how powerful their complete shenaniganery is and their specific flavor of shenaniganery. Because, I mean, this is EU Overwatch. We've seen some crazy stuff. I mean, I'm gonna name drop them, Spec, but Clockwork Vendetta.
I think that is kind of the... No, it's got Clockwork Vendetta was, I think, the name on the tip of everyone's tongues watching that play. I think plenty of the heroes have been changed, but of course the Roadhog stays the same.
Spirit stays the same.
Monk Mutter, who played it before, but that's ancient history now.
Was Moose. That was Moose.
Moose. Yeah, there you got it.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
The ancient lore coming out here.
It's like 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
It was like 18. Oh my goodness. We were babies back then, but we are big kids now, and we're off with Ayas.
What are you talking about?
No.
Holy moly.
We're professionals. Anyway.
Incidentally, we were informed that the pronunciation for Oyas is Oyas, but yassified. I thought people need to know that.
Well, I mean, we can't do the full pronunciation because it would take a little bit too long to say in a quick moment, but it isn't Ayas. It's Ayas.
I don't think I'm yassified enough to like pull that out. I don't think my power level's high enough.
We gotta fix that, chat. We gotta fix that.
we'll get that on the back burner then.
This stream is gonna be the yassification of Spectrion.
How do I do it? Yas. No?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You got it. You got it.
Let's go.
All right. Now that we've got that important part out of the way, map 2, because this is still a 1-2-2 scenario, and it is really gonna be tight. So for Yippee Carry, you had some really good signs of life. We're going to Hollywood. We're really going to try and play the dive here, I guess. And we saw some dive from Yippee Carry, but oh baby, did it not work out.
I mean, I think more importantly, you're trying to stop Sylvia playing the Roadhog, and I don't think there's a chance in hell that Roadhog can really come out here and find much value. You don't have the kind of close quarters engagements that Sylvia was able to find so much work off of. If you're playing the higher ground defensively, then you're just not doing that much damage. You're not controlling that much space. And if you're attacking, then trying to get a hook on that off angles throughout second is borderline impossible. But Oyas are going to be playing it anyway. Yippee Carry, more of the same. It paid off well for them once, but shut down twice by the Roadhog. So hopefully the third time is the charm. Hopefully they've figured out this match. I've had a chance to chat with their coach perhaps. But good God, I think Yippee Carry will end up winning this out by trying to fight the DPS, because overall, at least in this series, I have been, I think, more impressed by what Sunshine and Reese's have been bringing than their counterparts. I think Sylvia has been the carry almost for Oyas, the difference maker, and if that can't continue due to map or other factors, then I think there's going to be a lot more pressure on Sabotabi and Dominic to perform. Rolling out on the attack is Yippee Carry, and we're going to look to see Reese's take plenty of space early with the Genji dash, the Zarya bubble to enable that.
Yeah, I'm looking here at Sunshine and Santix and whether or not they can put a stop to Sabotabi, because on their successful rounds on Ilios, Yippee Carry was making Sabotabi look completely lost in the sauce. So I'm looking to see that continue as we go forward. Following now onto Terra to try and put this pressure onto the members of Ayas, nearly getting the pick onto Alexia, putting in that damage. The Roadhog hook comes out. Terra using those bubbles to try and draw out some pressure, get high charge, and take out the Lucio. But now Santa's gone again. Unlucky main drops, but the picks come through. The DPS stay alive, stay ready and raring, and they might just get themselves. They're gonna get one tick, but they're gonna just go away afterwards. They have the people to maybe contest this. Are they going to?
Yeah, they have to go for the re-engage. They have just waited for their healers to come back because Sunshine and Reese's between the two of them had less than 200 HP, less than a full bar of health to play with, and that just means that if anyone comes to fight them, you're going to die, but Santix goes down anyway.
That's a huge loss. Dominic just finding the headshot. Terra falls soon after with no sustain, and it all comes crumbling down like a house of cards for Yippee Carry.
A little bit of progress guide, a singular tick, and a single tactical crouch from Sylvia to put a cherry on the top of things. The overclock from Dominic is going to be absolutely humongous here. Also got the Kitsune Rush of Alexia. Remember, we saw them combo it with the Roadhog Ultimate last time. That's also coming up close, so a lot of damage potentially could be an unwelcome surprise for Terra. We'll see if that's the play they end up going for. A missed hook makes Yippee Carry's life a lot easier, but they have plenty of work still to do.
So much work to do. They need something big off these DPS ults. They need something huge as the Pulse Bomb nearly takes Sabotabi's life. There's the whole hog to just burst down Terra. The Immortality Field and Reese's soon to follow. And one ult spec takes out the entirety of Yippee Carry's life.
I'm really so confused, honestly. Whole Hog should not be finding that much value, but here it gets Terra instantly dead, not even comboed with the Kitsune Rush, and an extra kill as well. It means all yes can save their strong ultimates for the quote-unquote hard fight, but that fight will be now Yippee Carry. 5 ultimates to bring to bear. The Dragon Blade of Reese is at the forefront. We'll see how they decide to invest it, as they're just playing slow for now, trying to get Terra some charge.
Yeah, they've got the Kitsune. They're running into the Kitsune Rush of Alexia. They do find one first pick. That's what they need. There's the Graviton. The beat comes in from Noya. And it's so many ults for Yippee Carry. They're finding the picks they need, though. They take out the Kiriko. But can they keep this going? They have spent 4 ults. They get that second tick, that oh so crucial second tick. Sylvia's gone, and that will be point A going the way of Yippee Carry, but a big investment coming out.
Dominic pops their overclock in an attempt to recontest, but no one touched the point, so they were just left on an off angle, spamming at nothing, just taking damage and trying to live. That's an ultimate that's been consigned to the ether, cast off into nothingness, the one that all yes will sorely want back. It's going to mean Reese's Feast is going to be the only checkmark on the field, bar the Pulse Bomb. Then this Dragon Blade could come absolutely clutch if it doesn't get instantly hooked, and hook gone, it's going to be an opportunity. Reese's Feast is in deep with the blade, and instantly Noya's dead.
They're taking it. They got 2. They got Dominic. They got the Kiriko. They got 3. And Sabotabi throws in the Pulse Bomb just to pepper in the fun.
That's beautifully played from Yippee Carry. They poke until Sylvia casts the hook out. And then from there, it's just a bubble, a Dragon Blade, and an easy team kill, and so much free progress. Advantage in this fight, still also probably for Yippee Carry, just because they have the high ground here for free. All the Oyas really have to say is that the attackers have few ults, and there's no charge on the Zarya. We'll see if that's enough here.
They drop down, but they find the pick onto Alexia. That's a great start. And Dominic gone. Oh, the high ground advantage for the Sojourn is going to be deadly. And Ayas are just going to stand there and take it. As the cart slowly rolls in, they try and take shelter in the bar, but can't stay there forever. And they're split now coming up. They have to face this overclock from Sunshine. But the ult is there from the Roadhog, takes out Terra, but they get traded out the same. Can they keep this going? Sabotabi goes down. That's 2 now for Santix. Now jumping in onto the point. Dominic gone. And it's this high ground from the Sojourn again, keeping Yippee Carry in the game. as the stagger's gonna come in. They're gonna beat here, Noya. Response from Yippee Carry's Lucio. Will it be enough to get them some more time? It might just be a bit of a stagger. That beat will not win Ayas the fight, but it will just drain a bit more time and a bit more resources off of the bank of Yippee Carry.
Reese's has been cooking on the Genji, I have to say.
Yeah.
It's got a Dragon Blade and a Graviton Surge bringing into this next fight. It's going to be very, very hard combo for Oyas to shut down, who have since swapped, so no more Roadhog. Going to be a mirror on the Zarya Facilier. Decides that I think Roadhog maybe wasn't the pick there, wasn't getting all the work they wanted. Dominic on the Widowmaker is an interesting pick. The one-shot potential is nice, but considering that you two can get pretty easily shut down by the opposing DPS, it's going to be very, very rough to find value there.
Yeah,
and so it might just be going to be a quick conversion for Yippee Carry with their ults. Yeah, Blade in.
Blading in. The Pulse Pump's going to take out the Immortality Film. Not it. Noya gets taken out. Oh, what a shot from Sunshine taking out Sabotabi. And now the Widow of Dominic is just forced to hide in the spawn.
And the important thing here is that Terra could hold on to their Graviton Surge. Nothing from Oyas can counter this. Noya far too far off the beat, and so in the final defense, Oyas might just fold to this one ult. Comes in solo onto Dominic. That's an easy first pick.
That's a really great use of that grab just to take out Dominic and really get rid of that off angle. Now they're trying to chase down the Tracer of Sabotabi, but they need to be faster. Dominic's going to be coming back really quickly. Sylvia going down. Alexia has the Kitsune Rush. Could be the saving grace for the defense here, but they need to use it perfectly. The beat comes in, cycled perfectly at the end of Stantix's window. The self-damage takes out Sylvia on the Zarya. There's a dash in from Yukikari and their Genji, but the picks all coming in for the offense. The Kitsune Rush will do them no good, and so Yukikari will finish off the map. There's the overclock coming in from the top ropes, and the cart will finish in time for just a few seconds, but those few seconds back are important.
Oh, definitely. It does allow you an advantage should an opposing cap come through, but I do have to say about that last fight, it's just a great job from Yippee Carry. Getting the grab for the opening kill, and yes, it did take him a little while to close it out, but it was consistently a 4-on-5, 3-on-5, or yes, scrambling with their respawns, but never really able to get anything going. So lovely play from Yippee Carry not to give up that advantage, not to get overconfident, over hasty, and give up possibly that advantage to make a mistake that would allow Oyas to stabilize. So humongous play from Yippee Carry to cap with time remaining, and Oyas gonna have to be changing up their comp maybe a little bit still, but based on what we're seeing, could be Bastion, Symmetra, Reinhardt. Comp we've seen before. I don't think we've seen it too much today, but could be very, very punishing if you get Sabotabi in a position to get work done. I believe you can sim TP up to the high ground next to the elevator, but I haven't really tried it. So I think what could be a very real play for Oyas would be trying to run through the right side channel away from the point, wrap around the back lane, TP up to the high ground and win off the back of that. If they do that though, and it works out, well, I'd eat my hat, to be honest.
You heard it here first, folks. If Ayas pull out some goofy shenanigans with the sim, Spec's gonna eat their hat already. Well, let's see if they can make you chomp down on your Stetson, if they can make you snack on your Stetson here. As already the team comes in and they get booped off. Unlucky Main doing incredibly well to force away, as now just trying to fight on the low ground to sabotage the members of Ayas. Pushing through, they TP up to the high ground where Yippee Carry were stationed, and they just jump onto Santix.
That's the strength of the symmetric comps.
It's so unpredictable. They just appear behind you and say nothing personnel, kid.
Yeah, just quick cleanup coming in here. Yeah, they didn't end up going round the back onto the high ground, but they didn't really need to pull it out. Just straight TPs to Cathay. Santix alone there. Swapping over to the Ana, actually. So Yippee Carry want to dive this. Not a choice I'm in love with, to be honest. I guess they want Santix to play super far back outside of the Sim TP range, and everyone else going to be obviously rather hard to teleport on top of. gonna be very, very rough playing the Winston into this composition. There's gonna be so much damage. It's gonna make it very hard to stay in a fight early, and the Rhine Shield makes landing aggressive nades very, very rough.
Oh, but Sabotage is going to get peppered down by Sunshine as the flanks are going to come in. Reese's on the back, but just cannot escape. They went in too deep. So the question is, can they keep it going? They TP up onto the high ground, and that's the pickup of the Ana. That's the strength of the Ana, is nading right where that TP comes up and just shutting down the members of Yipikari, but they still can't find Hater here, or shutting down the members of Yas, I should say, and they found their stopping point.
It's such a strange compositional matchup. Yipikari have come up to their win condition. They got the Nana Boost and the Dragon Blade, could combo them if they so choose. Don't believe they've went for it so far, but the Dragon Blades, even drive from Reese's, have been huge.
The nade brings out the beat from Noya. That's an absolutely huge play from Xantix there, because here comes the Nano Blade. They're gonna TP away, but there's the Baptiste, and there's a little bit more coming out from our Genji from Reese's. Sylvia, though, finds two. This is not over for Yas. They definitely have some tick left in the tank.
And more importantly, Yas have closer spawns.
Yeah.
They're going to be able to engage really, really quickly while Yipikari is still rejuvenating. And obviously after they've just had a very expensive fight. So definitely an advantage for the attackers here. But Alexia going down early shuts that down.
Alexia goes down early and they switch off the sim. They're just getting shut down by this Ana. And a pin from Cilia coming in from the top ropes. Dropping the shoulder. Oh my goodness. How goofy. What a fire strike.
Yeah, lovely run mechanics coming through from Sylvia, who's been a very, very impressive player so far across the absolute gamut of tanks. Sees the Winston solo, shatters, misses!
Sylvia overshot!
What is going on?
Oh, what a caster curse. Just being like, Sylvia's been doing incredibly well. Overshoots the shatter. Dominic getting 3, looking for more. Trapped in a small room with Terra, who's also popping off. Terra v Dominic, shield dancing, getting taken out by the nade. What goofy games these are.
Sometimes you're watching a game and the fight ends. I feel like I should analyze something. Was there to analyze there? What just happened? Somebody tell me, because honestly, I have no idea. Cilia, though, over to the Junker Queen. Gonna shut down the rotations of Terra even more than previously. We'll see if that ends up happening as Oyas sprint across the high ground. Pulse-One forces the lamp and the Nano Boost onto Terra. Is terrifying as he bears down onto the backline. Alexia with no response.
What a great jump. Alexia just gets run over like a steamroller, but Terra just jumps into 3. And is gonna have to pop the ult and just try and wreak some havoc, get some staggers on these players. I mean, the Ashe is gonna go down. That's a solid end to the fight. Just ticking away this time. Yas came into this second point with, I think it was 5.5 minutes, and they're down to 1.5.
Yeah, this defensive second has been rock solid. It was where I think I said that Oyas would really struggle because you can't play that Roadhog here. And now they're on, their 4th tank trying to break through this hold.
And Alexia goes down again. That's a big loss. Reese's is coming up to the blade once more. And Noya needs to have this beat to counter it, because last time they just had to use it to counter an anti-nade.
It's such a rough scenario. The blade as well from Reese's could come up huge if they're caught out on a rotation. Yes, ult advantages here for Oyas, but Sabi goes down!
Sabotabi goes down. The blade's gonna get pulled out almost as a victory for the side of Yipikari. They've already got 2. And I mean, Reese's will take 1 more. Why not? But this is not looking good for Ayat.
Really isn't. Nana Boost up now for the Ana. Pulls from onto Sunshine.
No recall up. No recall up. Unfortunate there, Sunshine. Sabo just hits the pulse bomb.
This is rough.
Nano coming in onto Terra. The beat comes in just to try and counter this aggression. I mean, why not here? Why not now? Yippee Carry has so many ults coming up that it's gonna be really difficult to keep this going. I mean, Reese's just lands the kill onto the BAP, just runs them over, and Ayas had such a controlling, such a dominant map 1, and their map 2 falls by the wayside, and Yippee gonna be taking map 2, sending us to that oh so coveted map 3.
Yeah, Yippee Carry come back with a vengeance. I mean, after what arguably was a choke coming through an Helios, they come out all guns blazing here on Hollywood. And I mean, just look at them go. Reese's is an absolute force of nature on the Genji. Every Dragon Blade finding humongous value. And it honestly, all Yash, they just look lost most of the time. I believe it was, 4 tanks brought up to try and crack the attack of second, and absolutely nothing works. Every single time, it felt like the engage from Yippee Carry was picture perfect, and so humongous plays coming through to bring us all the way to a map 3.
Yeah, and surprising there, and a message to all the teams that are going to face Ayas in the future, because even if they lose here, they're just going into that lower bracket looking for a chance at revenge. But that is a message that if Ayas can't play this Roadhog, if they're on a map that they're going to struggle with it, they might be at their weakest. So we might have just seen the Achilles heel of these Yasified gamers. Map 3, though, is going to be Ayas's choice. So I'm wondering what they're going to pull out here for a map choice that's going to be really conducive to their Roadhog strat, because I feel like that is where that's where it all lies. Can the Roadhog strat work?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to Flashpoint next, so you've only got the 2 options. You've got Suravasa and New Junk City. They're not maps that I think are massively lean towards one or the other more than, you know, a small amount. But I would say that from what we've been seeing from Yippee Carry playing the Zarya comp more often than not, I think that is a little bit more favored on Suravasa, and so my guess would be New Junk City. I think the ranges, the sightlines are a little bit more conducive to the Roadhog as well there. So if I were them, if I were Oyas, if I were, I believe it's Hemp, who's been coaching this roster, that's where I would try and send it next. I think Suravasa has a little bit too much. Oh no, we're going to Suravasa. Fair enough then. Looking to take the mirror. They clearly know something I don't. But I do have to say, I do think this favors Yippee Carry.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, but I think there's also the fact that Flashpoint might be the best mode for Ayas, because I think one thing we've seen is that Ayas absolutely, completely thrive. They do their best Overwatch when it is an absolute clown fiesta. And where can you find more fiestas of clowns than on Flashpoint maps? I'm really interested in this map pick. I think that just generally Flashpoint is a very unknown variable when it comes to competitive Overwatch. We've sort of figured out Push and those vibes, but Flashpoint, I have only casted Flashpoint personally once. I don't know a lot about Flashpoint. These teams probably don't know as much about Flashpoint as they do about Push or Dive, or Dive is not a map type. I mean, you could argue that Hollywood map type is the Dive map type, but and they know about like Push or Escort or Hybrid or even Assault, even though that's not the game anymore. It's still a more known variable than you have for any other map type that we've had for a year plus, most of them since 2017.
I
So there's
think
gotta be some chaos.
I think what we can expect to see on Flashpoint is, firstly, Lucio is a definite. There is not a singular way that we're not going to be seeing a Lucio. It just makes those rotations between Flashpoints far too easy. You're putting yourself at far too much of a disadvantage not bringing him. I think the second important thing to remember about Flashpoints is that we're going to be seeing a lot of times where teams just elect to not go for a cap, not trying to recontest a point in the attempt to get a leg up on the next one. And then I think the way you play it is going to end up being very similar to Control, that you want to establish Control, of course, play it around the point. But the map design, and I think that's kind of the most interesting thing, the map design of Flashpoint allows so many DPS angles to be taken. So pay massive attention to that, where these Genjis, these Sojins elect to position, because so many of these spots can be so feast or famine, and just a couple millimeters changing from one to the other. And I think that is often what separates teams on Flashpoint. Less your ability to play around win conditions, your ability to bait out cooldowns like it could be on other a little bit slower map sites, like, for example, the hybrid we've just seen. So I think if your individuals are there, if they're shining, that could come up absolutely huge here on Suravasa. But, I mean, as you said, K-Wing, it's not a map type people know a massive amount about. It's not something I've scrimmed too much. So I think I'm still pretty clueless about what we're going to see exactly going into this.
Yeah, and I think that's the exciting thing, is that because there's so much new with this map type and with the general strategy, it isn't solved. You know, it's not going to be King's Row, where we go to King's Row and we go, oh, I wonder what they're going to play on King's Row. I wonder if they're going to play Brawl, the other Brawl, or the other Brawl. You could bring out anything on Flashpoint and I'd go, yeah, that could work. Because Flashpoint is such a banana bonkers crazy map that anything can work and anything can happen. And that's what makes me so excited to have it in the map pool and to get us to this third map going into Suravasa. I mean, I'm excited. I think this is going to be advantage towards Ayas just due to chaos theory. But it's so hard to predict because it's just going to be so incredibly chaotic.
I mean, if I had to guess, I think I'd throw my my chips into the side of Yippee Carry, but as you mentioned, it's going to be absolutely mad. And from what we're seeing in Spawn, the Reinhardt out of Oyas, I don't think that's something Yippee Carry is going to be expecting. Could get a great matchup in the Bastion v Bastion. Dominic going to enable Sabo to be on so many angles that otherwise you wouldn't be able to access. It's going to have to be some very, very safe play from Yippee Carry to stay safe with that, but you do have the Zarya bubbles to peel if Santic, for example, gets TP'd on. This is going to be a very, very interesting matchup to see. One I don't think I've seen before.
Yeah, and they have that Sim TP strat, the Immortality Field, immediately coming out in response to Sabo Tabby on the Bastion, just teleporting in behind them and just chasing them down wherever they go on Earth. The Sim TP out again. They're going to jump up to point, but Dominic going to go a little bit too aggressive with that last TP. Sabotabi looking for something to even it up, but will just find themselves picked by Terra. And that's Ayas going down. First Flashpoint captured by Yippee Carry.
Yippee Carry burnt essentially every defensive cooldown they had to stay away from the teleports of Dominic, and it really did pay dividends. It allowed them to get point presence early. That means that Oyas, they had no teleporter to engage onto the point, so they were just forced to run through Sunshine's turret form, through Reese's dash resetting, and through Terra's beam. That's why they were able to establish control first. Again, in the Bastion shift, and this time Reese's dies early.
Reese is going in insanely aggressive, and Sunshine gonna get taken down. That's two for Sabotabi. Now just jumping in onto the back of Yippee Carry, trying to find a little bit more, but they will just break through the bubble and shatter the hold of Yippee Carry incredibly quickly.
Unfortunately, just a mistake coming through from Unlucky Main, who would be coming out the worst side of an unlucky or bad for that particular play. Just caught out of position, more than easy enough for Sabotabi to scoop up, and the point will be flipped, but 5 ultimates will be here for Yippee Carry, only have to invest maybe 2 for a team wipe, but Sunshine early with the Bastion form.
Yeah.
Getting a kill!
Noya
Onto Noya! Good God, that's a big mistake. That's a big
huge
mistake.
loss there. That's absolutely huge because you lose your Lucio, you lose your Pete, you lose any defensive ultimate that you had. Oh yes, are now so struggling right now. They have to use everything they've got just to try and stay alive. They use the Shatter to get 2, but the Blade's out in their backline. Noya rushes back with the beat, but it cannot sustain through Reese's, and they're just going to dish out some pain. And Yippee Carry takes this point incredibly well. What an ult from Sunshine.
Pandemonium here on Suravas, but when the dust settles, it's again Yippee Carry who are in control. Oyas got up to 90%, but considering just how fast the potential takes up on this game mode, I'm not even sure there's a chance for Oyas to try and touch. They're trying desperately, pinning on point. The Lucio speed and the TP allows them to get there at least, and with Reese's down, there's a real chance for them here. The recontest coming up so big, 3 members down, and Yippee Carry.
That's just it.
Just folded.
Sabotage takes kills 2. That was such a huge TP. Sabotage taking 3, and Flashpoint going to unlock. Listening in onto where we're going next for this. I'm not sure exactly which one we're going to. I believe this is going to be Palace.
Yeah, Palace, and you see because Yippee Carry lost that fight so late, you see how Oyasa immediately established control. They can take all the angles they want. They have every single piece of space they could ever ask for, and Yippee Carry is going to have to expend cooldowns, HP, and time to try and get to much the same. Walking through main now, but with Oyas established on the higher ground, they've got a rough job isolating anyone for an elimination.
Yeah, they're going to have such a tough time, and Reese's is going to get taken down immediately. What a rough start there for the side of Yippee Carry. They lose their Genji, again getting picked off early. There's the ult coming into Sabotage, just going to pepper in the damage. Can they find another pick? Unlucky main going to go down, and now it's just Noya looking to send it through, and that'll be first Flashpoint capture going again to Ayas.
Yeah, Yippee Carry now got realistically one more good try to try and take Palace, or risk going up, or going down, sorry, 2-0 on the decider in this series. Yes, they have the ults to crack this open. Grav and Artillery form, for example, could be a quick fight win, and Noya not yet at that beat to try and counter it.
Oh, they're using that Artillery form very early. Terra does still have this Graviton Surge. There's the Amplification Matrix from the Baptiste going in very aggressively. What a wall to just shut them down. The Amplification Matrix cannot be used to any effect. Thanks to a great wall from Dominic, the beat going to keep the members of Ayas up, and 2-0 is Ayas, and they are looking to carry this home. Sabotage, just deadly dynamic duo with Dominic.
I do think that was a pretty poor fight execution coming through from Yippee Carry there. The grab in an attempt to stop Oyas and water falling out is not a terrible idea, but when there's a sim wall in front of it, there's no chance of you following out of that. And so it was essentially an ultimate you just burnt for an extra time, and even they can still touch the point. You essentially gain nothing. So over to the Ana and the Winston now, so they're trying dive before. It works out for them in the past, but into this Bastion right, I'm not sure the same will happen.
It's gonna be so difficult. Reese's gets taken out again. I think that's the 3rd time Reese's has been taken out early. It's just never good. Grenade takes out 2. What a shot from Santic. Will give their life for it, but will it be enough, I ask you? No. The Sabotage on the Bastion, cleaning up Ayas, takes point again.
When you're playing this dive composition, then it's really, really hard to get a go sign from Oyas. They're going to be playing so grouped up most of the time, it's going to be very hard to find an isolated target to ruin. And because you have that Rhine Shield blocking Santic's nade, you also can't go off of antis as much as you would have if they were playing something a little bit more standard. Bastion now trying to force out a cooldown, get a kill as well, and we'll just do a smattering of damage.
Yeah, they
and we'll
do
slow down Yippee Carry as well.
Now coming in onto the Winston, so he's going to be using that blade drive.
Nice.
Yeah, just gets taken out immediately. Blade comes in. It is going to find one. It's going to take out just the Immortality Field. And they're going to get first down. There's the kills coming in from Ayas. The Lucio picking up 2 to seal the deal. And that might just be it for Yippee Carry.
I mean, the point percentage is ticking up. They have essentially no tools to try and leverage. You see how much early space the Oyas are taking just to stop it, just to make sure there's no chance at all of a touch coming through. And yeah, with the Tracer going down, it's done.
Ayas, they were pushed to their limit, but Flashpoint came in incredibly well. Celia saying, welcome to EU. And I mean, yeah, welcome to EU. Enjoy your stay. How insane was that game?
That was so great. Oyas play a style of Overwatch that very few teams do, and it does clearly work out for them here. I have to say that in terms of traditional Overwatch execution, I think Yippee Carry did look like the better team today, but Oyas, clearly on Flashpoint, they were in control the entire way through. Plenty of times where Yippee Carry were able to recontest, get a little bit, but it was always Oyas who were clutching up at the ends. Oya who had the individuals coming up huge, and Oyas, they were the team who ultimately deserved to get the win today. And of course, we do have to again mention Sylvia, because their Roadhog was doing things I had never imagined, and I think that was through a lot of points, or through the first map at least, that was most definitely the difference maker. And coming on to the other maps as well, was still able to find plenty of value on some other heroes. Not as flashy as it could have been perhaps on Hollywood, but Suravasa 3-0, absolute domination for Oyas.
I mean, there's nothing other to say about that Suravasa than domination. And I mean, I think that Ayas must have had some really good scrimming and some really good theory crafting on Flashpoint and on how to play it, because they just seemed to know how to play Flashpoint just a little bit better than their opponent, and it made all the difference all the time. The unpredictable strategy really paid off for them there. But Spec, we have got another match coming up for you soon, but I think this is where we say goodbye to you and we pick up someone else to fill the color casting slot. So thank you so much for coming on.
It's been absolutely great to be here. The tournament has been amazing so far, and it shows only signs of heating up going into the finals. So it's been an absolute honor to be here, and yeah, thanks for being my play-by-play. Always a great time.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna see you all soon, and we're gonna get a new face in the color casting chair. So we're gonna get them right in, and we'll be right back with some more Kunoichi Kerfuffle. Don't go anywhere. Don't change the Twitch channel. We'll be right back. And we're right back here. We're bringing in Lord Loki on the color casting side. And we're here with the winners finals. We're moving up in the world. We're going to best of 5, first to 3. So a lot more on the line. And a spot in the grand finals on the line as well. So a lot going in and a lot happening right now. We have got our team Ayas versus the Chengdu Guardians. And we saw Ayas before this. We saw their, shall we say, non-conventional style of play. But the Chengdu Guardians we haven't seen today, but they've been doing it pretty well for themselves so far. So maybe they've got something up their sleeves.
Yeah, I got a chance to take a look at them yesterday, and Chengdu Guardians are one of the teams that looks like the team to beat right now. They've been playing consistently at the top of their game. Their micro play and macro play feeds into each other so well. Every time I try to give a standout player on the Chengdu Guardians, someone else immediately seems to step up and take that name right back for themselves. Chengdu Guardians usually sticks a little bit to what we would consider a more conventional meta, though on several occasions they have pulled out a little bit of a cheeky off-meta comp, a little bit of a role swap as well. Sometimes we do see Senna swap over to that main tank. And you can see them right there. Senna on the hit scan has been incredibly standout this entire time. And I know you see a little healing icon next to Zepturn, but don't let it fool you. That's a DPS in sheep's clothing.
Yeah, the Chengdu Guardians do have a lot of names that you're probably recognizing if you've been around the Calling All Heroes scene. I mean, Senna, Kindred, Zepturn, all names that light up my brain cells, but you have their opponents facing off against, like you said, that team to beat, seeing if they can be the team to beat the team to beat. You have Ayas, and I mean, you talked about them, about Chengdu Guardians being a bit of a, they stick to the meta mostly. Ayas brought out the Roadhog. And I don't mean like as a joke. They brought out the Roadhog on Ilios. And it worked. Cilia is a beast on many, many tanks. Sabotabi and Dominic on the DPS line have been scary, but it is just the standout player has been Cilia. Sabotabi as well, an incredible player. Cilia has been in a league of their own. I mean, just insane tank play. The Roadhog doing things I dared not think possible on the Roadhog. And I mean, playing the Roadhog, I dared not think possible, but coming in with a pretty impressive tank streak, we'll have to see if it can continue against the Chengdu Guardians.
Yeah, and Sabotabi is another name that's been in, Overwatch since the dawn of time. I feel like they're a long-standing veteran in this scene. They've got a ton of practice in, a ton of those scrim hours, a ton of experience in these high-level competitions that I think really starts to matter when you get deep in these tournaments. The deeper you get into a tournament, the more valuable having that experience comes, because these tournaments can be, almost grueling affairs sometimes, just because it's so many matches back to back to back to back at a level of competition that you don't get just by queuing in ladder all day. And normally you're only scrimming 1, maybe 2, scrims a day. That's only those 2-hour blocks. Meanwhile, when you come into these tournaments, you've got to be ready to take it for the long haul. And when you're having to go against these many insane teams back to back to back, being able to adjust quickly and get yourself through really matters there. First up, though, we do have Ilios, chosen by the higher seed team, coming into this one. It's one of the first times we get to see chosen maps. It's very, very exciting. With that, Ilios, expect a lot of high flying comps. Ilios is generally a pretty flexible map type, I feel like. If you want to go with that dive, super ready for it. There's a couple different maps that lend themselves very nicely to a more brawly meta here. This one, however, one of those maps where you absolutely want to be looking to control the high ground. Chengdu Guardians pulling out a composition to do exactly that. I love the Diva here along with Peace on the Echo. We've seen them do great things on Genji. Echo is basically just Genji that can fly. So, shuttle work out there. Meanwhile, Yas bringing out exactly that Roadhog team. It's going to be interesting to see how they deal with, you know, a high ground important map like this one while playing the Roadhog.
Yeah, it was a map that they did struggle with in their first round, or in their last round. So we'll have to see if Cilia can really bring out the dynamic hooks. Already hooks the tank out of position, but Kindred is safe. Alexia is not. Now Peace on the Echo looking to go right onto the flank and put the pressure on where Cilia falls off the side. Kindred will get taken out, but it's just not enough to really put the spears for them. Ayas, though, taking two. The point will flip towards the Chengdu Guardians, but can Ayas get the turnaround? Because they do have some players on the point. They're going to start flipping this point around. Is the recontest there for the Guardians? It looks like it will be, and it looks like Ayas going to have to back up just a little bit and wait, as the Roadhog going to walk in pretty much alone, but has so much sustain that they're pretty able to stay alive. The Mercy goes down. He's is gone, and somehow Ayas might just completely flip this, and the point gonna get turned around.
Yeah, I think Ayas did a really good job there of taking their pace, recontesting, but not so fast. Chengdu Guardians still in this one. We see Kindred still hunting for those picks here and there, but right as I said that, they're going to be sent back to spawn, probably swapping right back to that Diva. No, seeing an Arista now sung. Chengdu Guardians looking at what Ayas is bringing, especially with that Roadhog up front, that high damage center, and wanting to match it with a high damage center of their own. Arissa, very good for just holding down an area. As Sabotabi comes in here, they're not going to find the pulse bomb, but look at this on the high ground.
Sana coming in with that ult piece, copying the Sojourn as well. Sabotabi gone. Cilia getting the headshot to end off, or Senna getting the headshot to end off Cilia. But CNA Rush is not going to do them much good, and Senna keeping it going for the Chengdu Guardians.
Yeah, now out of this one, we get to see Chengdu Guardians in an advantage state where they can try to be that aggression force. You know, we've seen them these past 2 days really focusing on being the first team and the first team to pick. But, Ayas, looks like they've done their scouting, doing a really good job with the rotation here to try to take that advantage away from the Chengdu Guardians and get on a nice angle where they can really control the pace of this fight.
And Cilia is very smart with this ult. Use it to dish out a lot of damage in very quick succession to Kindred, as the captive son gonna get thrown out, but Dominic's gonna find the first pick, taking out the Mercy. The Chengdu Guardians are left alone. The support ult's gone, their support's gone, and Ayas will take that victory.
Yeah, still at 50% here, so no rush just yet, and Chengdu Guardians still holding really good ground here. Not all the way off the point, keeping some good pressure on Ayas. Means they should just be able to find a really quick recontest here. Ooh. And look at Kindred just sending it straight through.
That's such an aggressive play, and it's going to be a great anti-nade to take out Sabotabi on the side of Chengdu Guardians. The copy coming in, the Sojourns firing off shot after shot after shot. There's picks coming in, but Zepturn, the DPS player in sheep's clothing, comes up big.
This does put Chengdu Guardians in the driver's seat here. With time running low, we're going to have to see Ayas trying to get back to this point really quick. And this isn't a composition that's usually known for being quick with that Roadhog. Roadhog really wants to focus on those, you know, clean cycles, on those clean rotations, trying to find a DPS player out of position, forced in like the mid fight. Here though, we're gonna have to see an amazing engagement from Ayas to take this point back.
The pulse bomb from Sabotabi catches 3. Just absolutely massive. Sabotabi just keeps this in line for Ayas.
And now that exact position we were going over completely flipped. Not even a Lucio on the Chengdu Guardians. No one. That's the person you really want to be going for this pick. We're gonna see the ult here out of Zepturn going for the damage. Gonna get hooked right out of the air though.
Sylvia showing off, just taking Zep turn right down to Scorch City. You play with the sun, you're gonna get burned there, Zep. What a hook from Sylvia, just going in insanely well. Sylvia gonna go into the well, however. I mean, doing insanely well, in an insanely well. What's the difference is now there's like recontest coming in. Chengdu Guardians have actually just taken it through Peace and Senna alone. They're taking round one. How did they do that? I had completely written off round one. I thought we were done. What just happened?
I mean, Chengdu Guardians probably one of the best teams right now at playing a man down. Doesn't matter how many people they've got there, they know how to make it worth. Kindred doing such a good job of staying exactly where they needed to on the point. Just letting, giving most of the well, but just staying right on that corner, right where they can, control their area, control the position. And what that does is it lets Senna, it lets Peace flare out on those off angles, take the duels that they know they can win without worry of, getting third party, getting that interference. They can just focus on what's in front of them. And if you give Senna and Peace one-on-one duels, you're gonna come away with some victories. And Chengdu Guardians getting the round as a result of it there.
Ayas doing exactly what we expected them, rushing onto point, but such a smart play from Kindred, just jumping in on the alone members. The alone backline, and Alexia will find themselves dead in the water, and the Roadhog is just going to get burst down, slept, and taken out. I mean, one pick will be something for Ayas, but it won't land them the point. Some great Doomfist play from Kindred will.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if I have a choice between, trading a Sojourn for a Roadhog, I'm going to take that choice every single
Alexia?
day. But
Moya?
so fast,
The
not
support?
so fast.
The supports of Ayas absolutely popping off. The headshot onto the Ana. Ayas have taken the point. How have they done this? Question mark.
I mean, that's just... Hey, you're playing by the ledge. You're trying to be a little bit spicy. Look out, here comes the Lucio. Anytime you're trying to play by the ledge, you've got to be aware of your positioning. And once again, the support stepping up and knocking down the DPS for Chengdu Guardians. This just adds more and more time on the clock.
No way.
Chengdu Guardians can't even get a fight in here. They're just getting continuously picked off one by one by one, and this is just more and more time on the clock. Even though Chengdu Guardians looked like they had that first fight win, it's not mattering here. 40% here before Chengdu Guardians has a refight.
They do get the pick on the Sabotabi, and Dominic goes down, so it is just the DP Roadhog and the support. Oh no, Sabotabi throws in the pulse bomb. Sabotabi can do no wrong. Sabotabi, she can do no wrong.
I mean,
no wrong.
Especially with Pulse Bomb coming up that quickly, they're making good use of it. You get it about once every other fight. They're throwing it out, not with abandon, but with extreme precision here. Making sure to make use of that incredible resource every single time it comes up. But now, Chengdu Guardians has ults built up of their own, bringing almost all 5 into this fight. But Sabotabi is already building towards that next Pulse Bomb.
That's so aggressive. There's the Terrace Third coming in. Peace and Senna finding ones of their own. Captive Sun is in, but won't find any explosions off of it. It's a scrappy fight. Ayas does thrive in the scrappiness, but it might not be enough. Noya nearly going down, but the contest is there. The Kitsune rush to keep up just the 3 of them. Turret goes down. That's a really good loss. Really great take out from Ayas to pick it off, and Sabotabi forces them to pull back. Senna gets taken out. Now it's on to this Sojourn, pushing in. Dominic nearly finding the next pick, but getting taken down by the Ana. Staying alive. Tracer gets burst down. The copy cannot stay alive for too long. Sylvia gonna take a nice little nap on the point. Noya goes down, but the hook from Sylvia nearly takes out Peace, but eventually, after one of the craziest, goofiest, scrappiest fights I think I've ever seen, Ayas will have to go back to the drawing board.
Chengdu Guardians honestly looks best when they're on their back foot right now. These even fights seemingly going Ayas's way every time. But when Chengdu Guardians is coming back staggered, you know, complete disadvantage, no ults to their name, is when they seem to be performing best. But another stick from Sabotabi! Oh no, Zepturn's not who you want to lose first.
That's such an amazing play there. Sabotabi has been hitting clutch pulls after clutch pulls, and the ult from Dominic will not be any different. Gonna pick up one before getting taken down. Captive Sun coming in from Zepturn. Will it be there in time to get anything? It'll get some damage, but it won't get there. The copy onto the Roadhog going to get taken down. They do find the Kiriko. There's the whole hog getting thrown in. Hooked and cooked is Kindred. Sylvia gone. Could be the pick. Now Dominic looking for those last few picks to take out the staggers to go to round 3. And it looks like it just might be there. A big anti-nade could help Senna to stay alive, but can't get enough point presence. Round 3 is a coming.
Yeah, I think Sabotabi has done a great job of recognizing, you know, what are the legs that the Chengdu Guardians are standing on. You know, we've seen them do these amazing, you know, 3-player fights where they're just on their back foot, keeping everyone alive, doesn't matter who they lose first. Well, that style runs through their supports. Without the supports from Chengdu Guardians being alive, they don't have anything to stand on. They can't take those aggressive off angles. They can't take these aggressive plays and understand, hey, I'm going to have my support, someone's going to have my back, you know, I've got my help. That all disappears the moment their supports are gone. And so far in this tournament, they've done a great job of keeping their supports alive. Sabotabi here, though, has completely nullified that, especially with their pulse bombs. Every single pulse bomb that they've hit has been to the most important members of Chengdu Guardians, taking them out before the fight can even get started.
Senna picks off Dominic before we can even say go. And what a great start. Senna really showing off. I mean, one thing we were going to talk about was going to be, is that Widow play going to work out? And it looks like it is paying dividends for Senna, as now the jump in from Kindred with that commanding shout, nearly getting taken down, as there goes the Kiriko for Ayas. And this Roadhog's alone. 2 kills for the Genji, and a solid point capture for Chengdu.
Yeah, starting out with that first blood from Senna. We haven't seen them pull out the Widow too terribly much yet this tournament, but whenever they have, it has been brutal. You know, they call themselves the Greek GOAT. They call themselves, you know, best hit scan coming out of Greece. Well, when they're on the Widow, they sure look like it. Absolutely living up to that title.
Terrifying play from Senna, absolutely terrorizing the backline is Sabotabi. Peace is going to be able to find the finishing blow. And Sylvia going very low. Ayas nearly getting taken out. Sylvia finds the pick, and so will Noya. Sylvia with 2, with just a few HP, looking down to try and stay alive, but they will stay alive.
Yeah, just barely. Sabotabi continuing to be a menace in the backline. The moment Zepturn is gone, everything looks so much worse for the Chengdu Guardians. They are the high-value target. And right now, we are seeing Sabotabi collecting this bounty, but Peace has the
Peace
takes brutal!
Takes Sylvia as well. A huge pick. The pulse bomb takes out the Baptiste before the immortality field can protect them, but it's not enough. Whoa.
Peace getting ready here. You can see them getting set up on that high ground. Peace. I love them on Genji. They play this like a hawk, basically. Staying in the high ground, looking for an opportunity, but Dominic says, if you're gonna float into the sky, I'm gonna take you back to the ground, Icarus.
Wow, Zepturn getting a pick on a Sabotabi. There's the Captive Sun getting thrown out, not finding any picks off of it. But Sylvia takes down Senna with the Roadhog melee. How'd you manage that there, bestie? Oh, they're gonna go too deep, and Peace is going to punish the hubris. And Chengdu Guardians are 1 fight away from finding map 1.
Yeah, I think, you know, yes, having a little bit of a harder time on a map as open as this one as well. With that Roadhog, it's really hard to get onto the back line. It's really hard to, you know, fight against those long distance targets. And as a result here, we're seeing Chengdu Guardians looking to shut this one down. Peace making quick work of Sabotabi. And I think that might... Oh, nope, hold up. Oh, yes, making a good push here.
Dominic takes out Peace, but Alexia's gone. That's such a sustain for Sylvia. The anti-nade coming in, but Kindred rampages off the map. And Yas take the point.
That keeps them alive just that little bit longer. Losing your main tank for almost no cost is absolutely brutal, especially in one of those shutdown fights like that. You already have advantage, you already have it going for you. Very quickly, your advantage spins away. You know, traditionally, especially when you lose your main tank, you want to be getting a very, very high price for it. There, oh yeah, it's just getting a gift down, but oh!
Senna
is one pixel.
Senna threads the needle to take out 2, takes out the Lucio, and shuts down the hopes and the dreams of Ayas, just dashed on the rocks of Greece. And the Chengdu Guardians will take map 1 and take themselves a good advantage.
Yeah, you always want to get that first map win, put you in control for the rest of the game. If you end up trading maps, you get to the winning map. It's going to be you who gets to choose where to go. And so far this game, we've been seeing composition and map choice being a huge factor in who can win this one. We saw, you know, on Ruins, those 2 a little bit wider maps where they've got a little bit, you know, more high ground to worry about, a little bit more off angles to worry about. Ayas struggled a lot more in those situations. Whereas in the tightly packed, everyone is going to get put in one room. You have to deal with what's in your face map. Chengdu Guardians couldn't really compete with the warrior that is a Roadhog. Just absolutely insane. And the best part is when they have that Roadhog up front, when they have that pressure up front, when they've got Sylvia being absolutely insane, it allows Sabotabi to sneak around into the backline. All of the focus is going into the huge target that's right in their face, and it's leaving the side doors open for Sabotabi to be the bounty hunter that she is and find the high value targets.
And I mean, you've seen what happens when you don't give Sabotabi the attention she deserves, is that you get a 3k pulse bomb delivered right to the jaw of your supports. Insane plays so far. Sabotabi had a little bit of a struggle last game, and now are just coming into their own, and we have our map pick coming in from Ayas. This is how they try to equalize. They take us King's Row.
Yeah, and I really do like that pick here. From what we've seen so far on Ilios, having that, you know, tightly packed map really allows for a lot more. And not only does King's Row pack you like a can of sardines, it gives you a lot of corners to play around and disengage with as well, which is super important for Roadhog. You know, Roadhog, very much one of those mid-fight, you know, kind of heroes. We want to see him looking for people getting separated, and we want to see him taking a space away and giving himself some cover when he can't, you know, when his hook isn't up, when his, you know, heal isn't up. He needs to be able to disengage a little bit. King's Row gives a lot of opportunities for that. That's why someone like Reinhardt has been so good traditionally in the past on King's Row, is because of all those corners where you can disengage, take a break, get yourself collected, and then just charge right back in. Roadhog, great choice on King's Row, at least for Ayas. I wouldn't recommend anyone else pulls it out, but Ayas has very, very specialized roster, and they're making it work. Chengdu Guardians here likely to pull out something like a Junker Queen. Once again, I think that's really the biggest pick here for them. But I really do think that if this comes down to a game of composition and map choice, this is the map you want to go to on Hybrid.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with what you said. That's why Reinhardt has been such a terror. That's why Brawl has been such a terror of you are cramped, especially on Streets phase. It gets a little better once you get into point C, point Charlie. It's a bit better. You get some high ground that you can play with, but point B, it is just sardine can extra long.
Yeah.
And you have to fight on and around the point, on and around these corners. And this is where the Roadhog of Cilia is going to shine. But if Chengdu Hunters can shut down the Roadhog here, they can shut down the Roadhog anywhere. There is
Yeah.
nothing that they can't do if they can shut down Cilia here. This is the point that is going to be the best for Ayas. If they go down 0-2 here, they're going to be in a monumentally rough position. And I remind you, this is for a ticket to Grand Finals.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw on Ilios, on the seaside map on the big coast, how much Chengdu Guardians struggled to deal with a tightly packed Roadhog. I think this is the time where we really want to see the adjustments that can be made. Before, they've been able to just play what they have, work it through. We haven't really seen Chengdu Guardians forced to make adjustments going into a map. Here, though, this is the first time they've really been challenged with that. We've seen, coming into all of these times that their macro is immaculate. Their chemistry is immaculate. They've got all of their rotations down. They've got the cycles down. They know how to help each other out. They know how to step in when another is hurting and allow for everyone to perform the best they can in a micro way without having to worry about each other's roles. Now, though, we get to see the other side of macro, the theory crafting side, the comfortability with numerous comps side, the ability to adjust between maps in those short sides. With that, though, we ourselves are going to take some quick adjustments, just like the teams. Going to go to a quick break. We'll be back before you know it.
welcome back. We had a quick little pause for some substitutions. We have Lane coming in for Yves on the side of our wonderful Chengdu Guardians. So they're making a little swap on the side of the supports, but I think we kind of expected that as we go into King's Row. A big change here and a big map to keep going on the streak for the Chengdu Guardians or for Ayas to really start to turn this around. They need it here.
Yeah, I'm not too surprised with the swap at what is ostensibly the main support position. You know, we've seen most of the time with Yves in, Chengdu Guardians has been leaning on that double flex support, that kind of like Ana, Inari type of gameplay. Getting in a different main support, one who can maybe lean more on the Lucio, is super important on something like King's Row. It's what you're really looking for in these kind of situations. So not too terribly unsurprised there. As we start looking at King's Row, getting both of these teams in the lobby, I would be surprised if we didn't see the same Roadhog comp coming out of Ayas. Meanwhile, Chengdu Guardians likely looking at that Junker Queen comp.
Yeah, that's probably what we're going to see out of them, but we'll just have to wait for that Assemble Heroes phase. And, well, would you look at that? Sylvia going on to the Reinhardt. We did see some good Rhine play, and yes, this is the secondary thing I was expecting Ayas to pull out. It's one thing that they had incredible success on was the teleporting Bastion composition. Just sending Sabatabi to insane flanks, doing Jeff knows what, and just sending them to absolute Narnia and flanking around and just getting the surprise up.
Yeah, I also like a pretty interesting comp from Chengdu Guardians here, not opting for the Lucio. Instead, they want that still double, main healer, putting a lot of effort in, and good lord!
Sylvia, just
ambitious.
Truly ambitious. I mean, what an interesting play there from Sylvia and Ayas, but they come out on top, and they're going to have a massive time bank going into Point Bravo. Yeah, that's right. They're going to have near 6 minutes on the time.
Yeah, I think we just saw, Kindred drift a little bit too far forward there. Most of the time they can get bailed out when they over-aggress a little bit. Can't get bailed out from just getting taken to church. Good job by Sylvie there to keep this one straight. It looks like, at the moment, as good at Reinhardt as they are on the Roadhog.
Now that turret going to get taken down pretty quickly, and Sabatabi going to use that Bastion form, going to take out the flanking Bastion, but they're going to lose their Baptiste, and you really can't lose that piece. Gonna get a big chunk of damage up, takes out 2 and is looking for more. What a great play from the Genji themselves.
Yeah, I really do like Chengdu Guardians being able to regroup quick enough to put up a good defense at this Arch. This Arch, one of the most brutal ones in the entire game, definitely the most notorious choke point that you have to get through. We've seen teams stall out their entire time bank just on this one Arch, but here's the teleporter, gets them through the Arch. They're trapped in the library now. Gonna be interesting to see how they can get out of this one.
Yeah, they're gonna have to use the wall to just give themselves some breathing room, but it will work. But they're coming up on some big ultimates from the Chengdu Guardians piece. She's got the blade, Lane's got the amplification matrix, so there's a lot that's going to come into this next engage. I'm excited to see it. The jump up from Sabatabi, but here comes the blade from Peace, draws out the immortality field, but a slice and a dice takes out 2. Gonna pick up the 3rd with the shurikens, and a solid team wipe from the Chengdu Guardians.
Yeah, I love Peace there recognizing the aggressive rotation from Sabatabi and Alias in general. They've sent 2 up on that high ground, which is a great angle to take. The issue is, though, if the rest of your team's getting smacked, it's really hard to get back in time to help them. Peace doing a great job of recognizing that Alias was short-handed and diving in with the blade.
Oh, what a shatter coming in, just taking down Kindred. Lane will find one, but even the amplification matrix could not save their main tank. And so now the Captive Sun getting dropped in. Alexi gonna get taken down soon after. And the Bob going to do some great damage onto that Sim and just take out 2 Senna with a really great performance.
Short-handed Chengdu Guardians has to be one of the strongest team in the tournament. Like, Chengdu Guardians normally pretty good. Short-handed Chengdu Guardians going on a recontest, insanity. Anytime they decide, hey, we're gonna hold it right here, we're gonna find the recontest, doing just an amazing job throughout everything. Yes, here, they got the Bastion ult, not gonna find a lot off it off of Sabotabi, and oh no, that split might be brutal! Kindred! You can't stray that far!
You really can't, and they're just gonna run over the rest of the Chengdu Guardians. Kindred just goes too aggressive, too much, too far, and now, Zeptern is running away.
I love Sylvia. When they're playing these big cooldown, big commit abilities, they are able to just roll through with it. Sylvia doing such a good job there, recognizing once again, Kindred not where they should be, a little bit too far up. I'm going to remove you entirely.
Rampage! Kindred catches 4 on the Rampage, draws out the piece by themselves, and the blade will come up after all of those resources have been invested. That's 1 for the Genji, making it 2 with the deflect. And gonna pick up the 3rd with the burn. Really terrifying Genji play. Chengdu Guardians have stopped Ayas just meters short of Point Bravo.
I want to ask how the hell Kindred lived there. Sending through everyone getting caught out by the beat and no one dying on the Rampage. That should be certain death of how deep they went. Not this time though. Lane and Zeptern stepping up to help out their main tank.
Yeah, and they know that this main tank is going to be committing in deep, and they're supporting them incredibly well. As already Peace takes out 1, another from Kindred, and just taken apart piece by piece is Ayas.
Well, I mean, hey, you gotta find, peace through conflict. War is peace and all that, right? As peace is cleaving through them right now as Chengdu Guardians built up. If they take a long fight here, they can, completely stop Ayas from having a recontest here. So Ayas needing to either lose quickly or win this one. They've got built up with a huge Soviet ult. Earth Shatter out. Not gonna catch a lot, but it is gonna kill a Kindred.
Kindred just going into aggressive once again, but Senna's on the high ground, gets taken out. Peace now in the backline with the Genji trying to stay alive, just grabbing the health pack, but Dominic's right there and gets reflected. What a play! Reflects the right click with almost precision timing, just jumps in. Peace is a mad Genji player and just doing insanely well, and these staggers could be insane.
I mean, yeah, this is what we were worried about. A slow loss by Ayas. Now only 10 seconds to get back. Peace once again with the blade ready to go. Zeptern coming with their own ult, and that's gonna be brutal.
The Captain Sun! Zeptern catches 3. What an insane play. The Captive Sun blade combo. Just an explosive. What a great play. What a smart play from the Chengdu Guardians. Throws in the Captive Sun onto the group up backline of Ayas, and then Peace jumps in, slashes through all of them, activates every single Captive Sun, and the Immortality Field can only help you so much. How incredible.
Yeah, I really like the way that they did that as well. By throwing out the blade, it forces all of the supports they want to get back. They want to find, an escape route. Captive Sun comes in, pins all of them down, makes all of them nice and ready for Peace to just cleave in and through with a huge grouping there. And especially when you're coming back in on that recontest, you don't have time to set up those off angles. You don't have time to set up those different ways of going. You're normally just super bunched in right on top of each other because you've all taken the fastest route to get back to point. Chengdu Guardians, once again, a great job of recognizing that and being able to act on it. Here, though, yes, what we need to see from them is Sylvia really going on that disconnect play. Anytime they've recognized Kindred stepping up a little bit too far, they've done a great job of getting the separation, getting them back out, and just cleaving through the rest of the team. Here, being able to control the pace a little bit more on defense, really, choose where fights happen. I'm interested to see if they can, take that to another level here and find the separation they need from Chengdu Guardians.
Yeah, they need to punish Kindred just a little more. They need to find even more as the pressure's already there onto point, starting to tick up. Ayas needs this to keep their heads above the water right now from Chengdu Guardians. Absolutely turning up the valve. And there's the aggression, the push coming in with Peace, just ready to slash and dash and reset right through all of Ayas. 3 picks, 3 kills. Insane reaction.
Yeah, I really like that play by Kindred. They're going on the big rotation, making sure they had all their resources, all of their health. When they finally drop down, takes all of the attention, takes all of the resources from Ayas. And they knew this was a suicide play. Kindred's not getting out of that one, but it doesn't matter. The point isn't Kindred getting out. The point is setting everyone else up for Peace. Peace on a roll today. Chengdu Guardians doing such a good job of enabling them, getting everyone nice and ready for the cleave to come through on the sword, and they might just get through choke for free here.
Yeah, with how late and delayed that fight was, Sylvia, oh, what a play. Peace just finds Dominic. Sabotabi is gone. What a great play. Kindred goes down, but it doesn't matter. 2 picks have come through onto the members of Chengdu Guardians. Peace finds another. Why not at this point? Peace has just been coming into their own on the side of the Guardians. I mean, we were talking about Kindred, we were talking about Zepturn, but Peace is really showing their violence.
Yeah, and Peace, is building their success upon success right now. They are able to get through that arch basically for free because everyone died so quickly at the same time in that first fight. No one was left to try to go for the recontest. And so now Peace set up with a very early Dragon Blade, and there's the Captive Sun to help him out.
And no beat to counter it out. There's the Captive Sun. It's gonna burst. Burst 1, burst 2. Come on, getting a 3rd, 4th picked up for Peace. And the Chengdu Guardians, Ayas took them to the map that they would be the strongest on. And not only do they win, not only do they do it, but they reach that point with almost 4 minutes on the clock. Chengdu Guardians are a step above Ayas. They have just fallen by the wayside, and they're going to need to pick themselves up incredibly quickly if they want a chance at not having to do a lower bracket run. Gosh, this Genji play was beautiful. I love this Genji play. Peace has been going insane.
Yeah, not so fast. I think Ayas still has a good fighting chance here. While King's Row is the best map to pick for hybrid for the way Ayas wants to play this, I don't know that it's the best map type for Ayas. Hybrid, I think, is, King's Row is a great map for Brawl. It's a great map for putting you all in nice and close, but it doesn't trap you in quite as much as anything else. It does have those corners where you can find disengagements. It does have those opportunities for rotations. It packs you in real close, and it makes you have to play right up next to one another, but it doesn't trap you there like some other fights do. Going on to Flashpoint, however, you have to stay on the point. There's nowhere else you can go. Wherever the point is, that's where you've got to go. And most of these points don't give you a ton of room to play around. They're pretty, tight in places. They look a whole lot like that point on Ilios, where we saw Ayas perform so incredibly well. Most of these points are small, they're tight packed, they're really close in together. And you can't just be like, oh, we'll just let the cart sit there for a moment. It's fine. These points move quickly. You've got to take them fast. There is no, oh, we'll just let it sit there for about 5 seconds and then come back, you know?
Yeah, and I think that the one saving grace here for Ayas is that if there was any map type that at least in that last game they looked the most confident and competent on, especially compared to their opponents, it was Flashpoint. All the other points were moderately close. Flashpoint was a dominant 3-0. And they're taking us to the same place they took us last time. They're taking us to Suravasa. And I mean, we saw them absolutely dominate against their last opponent. So my question is, can they do it again? Or are they going to fall by the wayside 3-0 and have to pick themselves up going into the lower bracket? Because, I mean, they've already struggled. They need something big here.
With Flashpoint being, that brand new game mode, being, still very, very experimental, a lot of teams working on it. Oh yes, already playing with the experimental. A lot of times we see, these kind of off-meta interesting teams perform a lot better on what's new because they're willing to work it in a lot more quickly than a lot of these really meta-heavy, meta-confident teams. And Chengdu Guardians, as much as they flexed around, as much as they've had fun, still pretty much sticking with what they know works. I wouldn't at all be surprised if Ayas has picked up this new style of play very, very, very quickly. As you've said, they performed excellently on it last time, and after this one, we're going into Push, another map type that, again, kind of locks you in. You really can't let that bot move too far. The loss rate, or the win rate for winning the first fight in Push is something like 60-70% based on the map type. Any progress that you give the other team is just your own margin of victory and your own window closing that quickly. So if they, perform well on Flashpoint, move us on to Push, that continues to show great things. This really does set them up for a map 5 where, it can be that do or die situation. There is still a very, very clean path to victory here for Ayas.
That there is, and I think Suravasa is where it needs to start. This is Ayas' best chance to turn this around, and they're going back to their tried and true, tested idea. They're going back to Sylvia on the Roadhog, and you got Peace going over, showing some signs of the Junkrat here. That's an interesting start.
Again,
there's some region chat going on here. Wow.
You neglected region, you got us. Let's go. We're right here for you. But no, I'm not sticking with the Junkrat. I wouldn't have hated it, especially with how tightly packed, most of the points on this map have, there's big high walls around them. There's not really any escape through it. You've got to be looking exactly at your teammates, exactly at the enemy team. Here, though, Peace already trying to start this one off quickly.
And trying to really take it against this Roadhog, just pepper in that damage. And Peace has already shown how scary they can be. But Lane's going to get taken down. Dominic finding a crucial headshot, taking out the Baptiste, taking out the healing turret of Zepturn. And Chengdu Guardians are going to lose so much of their sustain. They need a big pick. They do take out Sylvia. That is a huge start. Senna finding 2. Both headshots. Call them out. Incredible from the Chengdu Guardians. Going down, but not going out.
Still have a little bit of time here. Gonna have at least a refight or 2 if they take him quickly now. And yes, while they didn't, look perfect in that fight, Peace continued to look insane. 80% on the Dragon Blade after 1 fight. Yes is still building these ultimates very quickly, especially that whole hog that we've seen Sylvia do work with. But Sylvia taking a lot of damage before they even really get started here.
Yeah, I'm looking at Peace with this Dragon Blade. I'm really looking to see it. And Noya already getting taken out. Peace Just a massive loss there. Just massive loss there for Ayas. Peace doesn't even need the Dragon Blade. And Senna taking out a late pick on the Sabotabi. They need to stay alive here. The Captive Sun getting thrown in. They're really looking for the finishing blow here. They're going to find it. Zep turn 2 with the Captive Sun. That's it.
Yeah.
That's first flashpoint.
Yeah, that's it for that point. No chance of recontest there. You know, these points go quickly, and you've got to act quickly here. I do want to look at Senna being a huge standout player, and I know we're seeing Peace a ton on the scoreboard, a ton with that Dragon Blade, but half the reason they're able to perform so incredibly well is because Senna is doing such a good job on the off angle that they're pulling so much attention. They're able to put in so much damage and allow Peace to go in, get those dash resets, and basically just act as a janitor, you know, clean it up, taking out the trash here for the Chengdu Guardians.
Chengdu Guardians getting some good positioning on next flashpoint, going to be Ruins. So now they're looking for a controlling lead. Senna finding a huge first pick. And the Chengdu Guardians just showing their stripes. Both big supports going down. It is Lane and Noya, the only supports on the field. Flashpoint going to go toward the Guardians. So it's just a matter of how long can they hold it, or can they come back? They do take out Sylvia, and they find the picks. Noya down. Peace on this Genji is just an absolute insane pick. She's just been coming into her own.
No, she's been absolutely wild. Something I do love as well about Chengdu Guardians, you know, I talked about it earlier, this double flex support strategy, it not only provides redundancy. So let's say you lose lane early, you lose Zep turn early, you still have all the healing in the world, but what else you have is you've got basically another DPS. With both lane and Zep turn acting as half a DPS, you're able to put in so much more damage and open up so many more opportunities for people like Peace to go in with a Dragon Blade.
Peace, the Nano, finds 2 picks, looking for the Orisa as well. Just gonna stand there, and Sylvia is not gonna face it off against Peace. That is Flashpoint 2 going the way of the Guardians. There's a 1 more point left, 1 chance for this Ayas team to stave off the lower bracket, but otherwise it might just all be over. So we'll have to see. I'm not sure exactly which point we're going to be going to next. I think we're going to
looking like Garden.
We're going to Garden. Ayas does take some good position.
Yeah, I do like Ayas being set up here ready to go before anything gets started. They only got 2, maybe 3 fights left if it goes quick. We need to see them win all of those. And Sabotabi dropping early is not gonna help.
No, that's a huge loss. Lane is absolutely a linchpin. Sylvia goes down, and it's just the Peace and Senna show on this kill feed. Chengdu Guardians are just a step above.
Yeah, and we talked about earlier, you know, they breathe through their supports, they breathe lifeblood through their supports, and Sabotabi able to, you know, take advantage of that earlier and really knock the legs out from under Chengdu Guardians. Here, though, great adjustments by the Chengdu Guardians to completely eliminate that possibility. Lane and Zepturn have been so steady going into all of this.
Jenna just gets 2 picks early on. Ayas just falls by the wayside. There's nothing they can do. They just get run over.
He didn't even fight, hadn't even started there. Senna's just poking them before they even get going. Kindred didn't even have a view of what was going on. They were still prepping, waiting for the rest of the team to come in. Senna says, no, we don't need to take a team fight. I've got this.
This is smart. They're Kindred tracking the approximate position of where Ayas is through the wall. There comes the rampage. Alexia just gets destroyed. Just gets deleted from the video game. Sabotage is gonna find 1, but Ayas is just all alone. They drop, and a 3-0 victory. Chengdu Guardians make not just a statement, but make an absolute... They just shut down Ayas. That was incredible. We watched Ayas do some insane things last round, but the Chengdu Guardians made it look like child play. This Iliari play was insane. The Genji play was insane. what an incredible, incredible performance from the Chengdu Guardians. Not only making themselves the team to beat, but just solidifying that they are the kings. They're going to grand finals, and they are a hard favorite to win it all and to take their share of this prize pool. I mean, I really think they can do it because that was insane.
Yeah, I mean, it sure does look like it. The question we had this match was, can Chengdu Guardians make these quick adjustments to adjust to a team that is pretty different than the rest of the field? And the question this far has resoundingly been answered with a yes. They look like they can do everything right now. Most of the time when we see a team doing this well, we can take one note and say like, well, they're not doing great here, or they're not doing great here. Right now, Chengdu Guardians is winning at everything. Everything is firing on all the cylinders. I would love to take this time to try and name an MVP for this match. Shout out one of the Chengdu Guardians as being insane. But anytime we tried to do that, someone else stepped up and showed us that this is an entire team effort. This is the entire team of MVP level players.
Yeah, I mean, Zepturn, Peace, incredible players, but every single one of them was just clicking together and separately, making an incredible whole and an incredible result, taking out their biggest competition like it was another day at the office. The Chengdu Guardians look to just dominate, look to stand above the rest, and I mean, they're done for the day now, Loki. And I mean, so is EU. We've got just a few more games left in the tournament. And the Chengdu Guardians look to be they're just the team. They're them. They're them.
With that, though, I think that's going to be it for the European side today. But don't worry, we'll be back with some NA action before you know it. Both K-Wing and I will be right here for that one. So everything continues through. We just get to flop over regions right back to North America. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with that one.